stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musef.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musef.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
A very lovely morning to our viewers in Lagos, Africa and beyond. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Lagos. It's a rainy morning and you're tuned into the Business Morning Live here on Business Day Television. We've got a packed morning ahead, starting with the morning news. We move to the newspaper review and then we'll bring you conversations on the show and we wrap up with social listening. My name is Elizabeth Musa. We go on a quick break and we come back. It's the news this morning. Do stay with us. You're welcome to the Business Morning Live News. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Let's see what's making the headlines this morning. Nigeria bets on regional tax reform to boost domestic revenue. Strong exits fail to offset Africa's startup funding slowdown. Ethiopia removes bank lending cap to support financial reforms. Oil prices climb to $85 as Trump revives Iran blockade threat. Now let's begin the news in Nigeria as its position in regional tax reform as its key strategy to strengthen domestic revenue mobilization, improve tax compliance, and reduce its reliance on oil earnings amid growing fiscal pressures. Government officials say closer tax cooperation across the region will help curb tax evasion, improve cross-border compliance, and create a more efficient framework for collecting revenue from businesses operating in multiple African markets. Analysts believe the reforms could expand Nigeria's tax base and support long-term fiscal sustainability. However, they note that success will depend on effective implementation, stronger tax administration, and sustained collaboration among African countries to harmonize tax policies and improve revenue collection. Moving on, the world's largest shipping company has introduced a peak season surcharge of up to 4 million naira on cargo imported from India to Nigeria, a move expected to increase shipping costs for importers and put further pressure on consumer prices. The surcharge comes amid rising global freight demand and ongoing supply chain challenges, with shipping firms adjusting rates to reflect higher operating costs during the peak shipping season. Industry stakeholders say the additional charge could raise the landed cost of imported goods, particularly for manufacturers and traders that rely on raw materials and finished products from India. Analysts warn that the higher logistic cost may eventually be passed on to consumers, adding to inflationary pressures in the domestic economy. In other news, Africa's startup ecosystem is showing signs of resilience through stronger exit activity, but investors say it is not enough to offset broader concerns over slowing venture capital funding across the continent. While successful acquisitions and exits have provided positive signals for founders and investors, overall startup funding has remained under pressure due to tighter global financial conditions, cautious investor sentiment, and reduced venture capital inflows. Industry analysts say the decline in funding is forcing startups to focus on profitability, operational efficiency, and sustainable growth rather than rapid expansion. Despite the challenges, they believe increased exit activity could help restore investor confidence and attract fresh capital to Africa's technology ecosystem over the long term. Now to end the news, global oil prices have surged to around $85 per barrel after the United States President Donald Trump renewed pressure on Iran, raising fears of a possible blockade around the Strait of Hormuz and fresh disruptions to global crude supplies. The renewed tensions have heightened concerns about the security of one of the world's busiest oil shipping routes, through which nearly 20% of global crude exports pass. Analysts say any prolonged disruption could tighten supply, increase shipping costs, and trigger further volatility in international energy markets. Higher oil prices could boost export earnings for oil-producing countries such as Nigeria. However, economists warn that sustained price increases may also fuel global inflation, raise energy costs, and create fresh uncertainty for businesses and financial markets. Well, that does it this morning on the news. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Up next is the newspaper review. Do stay with us.
pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about Business Day. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point.
For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news.
You're still watching the Business Morning live here on Business Day Television, and this is the newspaper review segment where we check out some of the front pages of the national dailies. As always, we start off with the Business Day newspaper, but I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with our in-house analyst, Mr. Mohammed Akonji, who has been on an flood leave.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you very much for your thoughts and your much. How are you doing today?
I've been well.
I mean, it's really flash flood Lagos in the last 2 weeks, and I'm sure you can be able to bear witness to that. I mean, I was discussing yesterday, I have never really seen, the quantum of the amount of rainfall, the volume of water that came out from the sky the last 2 weeks in my lifetime. I don't think I've seen it. I have never. I mean, like,
in your lifetime?
My lifetime, I've never. This is like the first time I'm witnessing this volume of water that actually be able to come up. But of course, thank God for life. We're still alive today. We're still seeing it. Yesterday, I think people on the mainland were the one really witnessing this story yesterday. At least maybe we on the highland, we're having a kind of a clear sky since Tuesday. Monday has actually been another very, very hectic period as well. But it's all good. But at the same time, it's a World Cup as well anyway. We're almost going down to the curtain raiser by Friday. I mean, we are drawing at the curtain, on Sunday. I remember you saw the semi-final yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, amazing. What's your view? What's your view about that? I know you're the viewer. What do you think about it?
I mean, I was expecting Spain to win, but France did.
Amazing. No, Spain did.
Spain did also.
Okay, you were expecting France to win.
I was no.
You expected Spain to win, and Spain did. Because I know, in fact, I was discussing with the producer, the director yesterday, and some other people, a lot of people actually felt that France, they've actually been the bookmaker favorites. A lot of people felt like they've actually been stupendously good, so far in this tournament. But I was actually feeling in my mind that they've not actually met their match. I'm talking about France. Before now, before yesterday, a lot of people actually put their money on them, bookmaker favorites. They've actually been doing so well, and people felt like, no, they're just the team to beat in this tournament, and it will be back to back for the last 2 World Cups now. They went to the final.
Who do you think is most likely to win this World Cup?
So to me, I support England. I don't know what I've told you. I support England.
I mean, I'm Arsenal fan, so I did
Thank you. So definitely England is a favorite player. Thank you very much. Amazing. I think I'm able to understand my reason for supporting England. So now we play Argentina tonight.
Do you see the chances of us winning?
I don't know. I don't want to call it. I don't just like I remember for my editor we talk about it. Does not have a crystal ball. I think I have a crystal ball to check. But I actually vote for England, even though Messi is also my guy too. I like Argentina because of him, really. But today I'm actually putting on my heart on England. And hopefully, Argentina is, I think they play for themselves. I mean, there's this good thing, this collective thing. They have tired legs. They have tired legs at the back,
and that's
the way they are hitting, just that's it. That's
for so many years. I admire that
because you see that never die spirit in them right from the round of 32 against Cape Verde, Egypt, and you see that consistency. Even though teams will be able to drag them to the wire, they always find a means of guiding out the result. I think I've seen that in them. So, but they're also very, very lucky at the back. They are defenders at the back, Romero and Otamendi. You see some level of, they are still not strong enough to be able to hold their own to the dying numbers.
But I mean, with time.
So I feel like if England can actually be able to unleash the firepower of Bellingham, start Saka tonight. Maybe that's what I wish. Not
start with Saka
today. That's me starting with him. Madueke has been
and Saka has been sort of on a very low.
He was injured actually. Yeah, manage. The injury, that is why, of course. That's why he's not starting regularly, of course. So they're going to be starting. So in his place, I'll be Madueke. It's been the one starting for England.
That's also
they have been playing very well. But even though he had a very, very patchy performance in the last game against Norway. So I hope that the coach will start Saka today.
Yeah.
Will likely start Saka today, and maybe if you unleash him, he can be able to create those penetration.
Well, you said he has
I played about 2 at the tournament. At the start of the tournament, he was about 2 weeks out. So that's why they're trying to be able to manage his appearance. I'm talking about so far in the tournament. But with Thomas Tuchel, coach of England, speaking yesterday to the press that he's well and ready now, very ready to be able to fire. So I expect him to unleash him at the beginning.
That's my chosen one.
Of course. Still there anyway. So I think we have that agreement.
We have that agreement, but I mean, this is the first time we see like the 4 biggest. Do we call them the top 4? The top 4. That's really beautiful. So
we think that they're the best team in the world.
I think it's also like the most exciting World Cup for me. I would say wide. I mean, I think all the other World Cups have been exciting, but this is a World Cup where I mean, now there's social media keeps you on board. So in the past years, before now, World Cup seemed like something where just a few homes who have access to watch it. Just a few people would actually travel to tiny then who can even watch, especially in Africa, who can have access to, like a DSTV or all these things,
of course.
And even that time. But now with internet, with our phones, social media, even if you're not watching, on now with
social media is keeping abreast,
keeping abreast. Beyond just the pitch, you're also keeping up with the lifestyles of these people. So, let me tell you my stars of this season. Beyond just football, beyond just the play itself, it's Erling Haaland that's like everyone's favorite on social media. Yeah, that was you clearly don't use Instagram. It's everyone on your social media. That's the gentleman for all the ladies right now. That's everybody. Once you go check that, then that's the star of this season. Like no is out, but everyone went from 1 million to over 60 million.
Oh my God!
That's how much has become a darling. It's beyond even the game. Everyone is just intrigued with the way stylishness. Everyone just
shouldn't do that thing.
When the world is watching.
Amazing.
Right.
That's very good.
So how many people support Man City?
I watch it.
Everyone's like, oh, this darling. 6'4", tapping his head this way. It just feels like an unconventional person that just comes to your color. You feel like, wow, this is different, because usually what the idea of masculinity, shave your hair. It just feels unconventional, and everyone is also intrigued by Snapchat. So he recently started using Snapchat. So we're talking a lot about sport, but we wrap up now. He uses a lot of recently. And what makes it intriguing, he just posts random stuff, and everyone is just like, or like this superstar where he has to do something curated. He could just be chewing an apple and then he posts it and he captions it with something funny, quirky. He just becomes everyone's darling. Like even in the videos, he's talked about how so a lot of interviews now they've done with him, and it's just like he didn't expect all of this.
To actually do that.
That being himself is what has Number 2, my second superstar this season. It's not even a footballer. It's Lamine Yamal's younger brother, Kenny.
Okay.
I'm sure you didn't know the scene. Everyone's darling. Is every match, everyone is looking out to see him. He's his big brother, 3-year-old.
Okay, that black boy.
So everyone is always looking forward to beyond Lamine, who is the footballer. His funny face, sticking his tongue out. So that's the second darling. But the darling in football right now is Erling Haaland. Everyone loves him. They're boys now. The parents are coming up. They're mimicking him. They're also fascinated with the way he does his interviews. His one-liners. It doesn't say much. When you ask him, why did you do this? So why not? Good. Yes. Good. It doesn't say much. It's like, this guy's just different. Everyone just loves him.
I've actually been following most of the on-field issues. Maybe very little of the off-field, but I mean, this is actually good. Let me understand. Whatever I wanted to tell Around has, but you make a very vital point. Most of us watch the week in, week out. Maybe we that are football aficionados, you see every week. You saw it is some of the
football is exciting. Clearly, let's go and see what we have on the front page of the Business Day newspaper this morning. The world of business can also be exciting. That's why we make money. The big story says federal government grants Shell tax credit to unlock $20 billion deepwater project. That's in the energy, oil and gas sector. And then big story here says Nigeria's inflation to hold near 15.9% on stable naira. Forecast strengthens case for MPC hold next week. Final story on the front page of the Business Day paper. Not so final, no, almost final. Says fresh attacks keep play to Benue farmers off fields as bloodshed escalates, over 1.5 million displays. Naira closes as Dangote's dollar-based fuel sales lift FX demand. And then Stanchart lowers rate cut outlook ahead of MPC meeting. That's on page 30. But I'm guessing you want to speak to perhaps the inflation or the Shell tax credit.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, my lady. So first, today we're expecting the inflation figure. Today is the 15th, right? Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Every 15th of the month, we're expecting the inflation result. And it should actually be coming out today. Don't forget that this will be the inflation figure for June 2026. As at May, the inflation figure stood at about 15.93%, right? Of course, on the back of the simmering tension in the Middle East, just like we know, as well as some other behavioral factors are actually responsible. But I think this particular study done by Dr. Jabolo, one of our economists at Business Day, did a kind of a survey of economists, and most of the economists took to the fact that the inflation will likely be able to hold steady at that 15.9% that it actually remained. We did expect a kind of downward spiral, even though we had some little relief the last 2 weeks after the 60-day ceasefire plan that was actually signed between US and Iran. Even though, unfortunately, that has actually been thrown to the gutters now, and we've seen that there's a renewed hostilities, we've seen renewed attacks happening at the Strait of Hormuz closed again, and that is actually affecting the price of oil, climbing up again as a result of that. So we by the mid afternoon today, we expect that to happen, the inflation figures, but I think we'll be more interested in two things: the food inflation, which is always a core driver, what has actually happened to it as well as there's a food inflation driven majorly by all other items, including energy costs. I'm sure that we'll talk about the price of gas here, how even though it's been really stable now, but at the time, especially the last month, we've seen how it has climbed. And that will also be able to feed into the inflation figure that we'll expect today. So we don't expect the inflation figure to go down. It's we will be able to hold back at that 15.93 that it was in May. Now this is July. So the July figure will tell us about what happened in June for the inflation that we released today. So I don't expect it to actually be able to go down. At the same time too, maybe if we have a marginal shift, you understand, it could be a marginal shift of 15.90, if you're 15.93, maybe we can be able to drop, so there'll be a band anyway. So we're still looking at that 15.93 and maybe 16% that we could likely get, but that's actually a very, very good figure in economics. The way it's not 15.93 to 16.1. There's always a band that we're looking at. So when they release it today, because of some of those dynamics, the food inflation, because for that particular period, this inflation too will take account of the fact that the Iran peace deal, US-Iran peace deal, was within that period. I will see that the price of petrol, started really to go down to about 1,160 before, unfortunately, the attack started again on Friday after the NATO conference in Turkey on Wednesday. So, which is actually affecting, the market again. I'm sure we don't use stories about Dangote, about Naira pulling
based fuels.
Exactly. Because at the time, the way Naira reacted on Monday when Dangote came up, I think we discussed that as well. It was on Monday or Tuesday? Monday. It is Wednesday, I guess. That was on Monday when Dangote announced that the Naira for crude deal has actually ended, and that he will need to start selling back dollars. He will need to start selling back crude or petrol actually in dollars, because also getting it in dollars. Even though the government has actually been able to quickly intervene and see how that, but we see the implication of that on the exchange rate. The Naira depreciated very, very rapidly on that Monday as a result, because that's the market sentiment. The market is actually very timid. The market is timid. Any little thing like this jots the market into action. So that's why in the statement, what you say, what expectations play a very important role in economic matters. So when that happens, we saw how that affected the Naira. But of course, thank God, because of quick intervention by the government, we are seeing that a bit cooling off at the moment. But as I said, by 12 p.m. today, we expect to see the inflation figures. And then I think the Shell matter as well, that you also read as well, federal government, the Bonga water, the Bonga, it's the Bonga, that's the Niger Delta. The government is trying to give tax credits, thank you very much to Shell, to see, don't forget that this government is attempting to ramp up to 3 million barrels per day ahead of 2027. In fact, one of these things, maybe from an economic perspective, that they could be able to campaign with, or government should be looking at, any government has to campaign with this, how can you ramp up production? Because it's very, very important. So one of the ways that we think the government will go a long way is to ramp up production to about 3 million barrels. And by giving tax credits, they're allowing Shell and most other market players, most other upstream players, right, to see what they can do in terms of, exploring other alternatives. So Bonga is one of them. We have some other deep waters. Bonga deep water is part. Other deep waters that we're seeing around. Don't forget that Aradis as well, Lake as well. There's a deep water as well there that could be able to allow government to be able to access more crude as well within the Bejuleke refinery, Bejuleke access. So most of what the government is trying to be able to do to ramp up production to ensure that it can actually be able to get up to the 3 million barrels they're targeting. I think the last thing there was the plateau attack, right? I don't know, maybe I could have been able to ask, what do you think, Elizabeth? What are they seeing a kind of a downward spiral? I mean, it has actually gone down in the level of security attack. What do you think?
I don't know.
What you're talking about, I
don't know that I would say that
things have gone down.
The insecurity has perhaps reduced. I would say maybe the reporting has reduced. I don't think anything has reduced.
Okay. You think the attacks are still there?
I think the attacks are still there, but perhaps the reporting, perhaps.
Of course, I know, of course.
The reporting, because the extent of the of insecurity or the scale of insecurity, when I speak to some of my friends, people that are in the northern, they tell me, look, they're not even capturing it enough. Like, this is happening, But I think that because, journalists themselves, they're also trying to protect their lives. Because now, how much money, what insurance do you have?
Do you have your life if you actually get lost in
those places? But not saying that there's still areas where there's a little bit of security. I think it's possible that there's not been enough reporting.
Okay, maybe that could be a factor, but I beg to differ a little bit. Even though I agree partly, I don't fully disagree with you. I just feel like there's a renewed vigor, there's a renewed ambition from our security apparatus, security architecture now, to be able to deal with these hydra-headed monster. I mean, this is security headlong, and that is because now it says they're actually giving it fire for fire. To these bandits, to these terrorists, to these marauders, to these kidnappers, whatever nomenclatures you want to be able to give to them. I think they're actually be able to give it to them. Because, for example, just a very case in point is really abduction, the Obomoso. Look at when they give us the timeline of how the new strategy they used to be able to smoke out these guys. What did they do? They went for their own family members as well in Adamawa. They were able to identify the family members of these terrorist groups and capture them and did a video and send it to them as well, that if you do this to our people there, your own wives or kids are also here with us, I will do the same. And that's exactly how they're able to be able to play them and they will get sorry. So I think that strategy really worked. And they become discombobulated as a result of that. I'm talking about the terrorists themselves in the old national park. Because let's go and read the timeline the military did about, they track them, they look at where their families are, in fact, the places that they were in Adamawa State, they mentioned most of those villages, and they targeted them from there, captured their family members, and they told them, this is your wife here, this is your child, this is your mother, this is your father, they are here with us, if you do this, we will likely be able to do this. And then, so I felt like there's actually, I'm not saying they're not happening, just like the Plateau, the Plateau and the Benue case that are actually within there, but I felt like maybe it's a little bit, on a downward spiral.
Okay, yeah, and that would be really good. But if in Plateau it's seeing a downward spiral, but in other states, Benue State recently,
of course, it's
so it's moving. So for me, if you're talking about Plateau State and saying that there's a downward spiral,
I'm not saying even Plateau.
I don't think if it's Nigerian general, I don't think so.
Okay,
but let's move on to the Guardian paper. I always like the Guardian paper. I always say every time that I like the spread, the infographics. Now, on the front page of the Guardian paper this morning, the 15th of July, on the top left side corner says PFIPC calls growth for Senate Bajamiara probe as police arrest Adeyemi. This is news on page 3. And on page 3 still says reps query OAGF over deductions from MDA statutory funds. And on page 3 still says Akpabio Abbas defend decision to prioritize Tinubu's state police bill. And on page 6 this morning it says fuel jumps by 100 naira per litre as Dangote shifts $1.84 billion FX boarding to marketers. That's on the front page of the Guardian. And it says Naira may weaken as marketers stress test FX liquidity. And on page 29, it says UN scales down humanitarian intervention, hands over to institutions. And still on page 2 now, it says weather forecast predicts daily rain for the next 10 days. This doesn't sound exciting at all. Very. Not even just for Lagos, flooding in Akwa Ibom,
of course,
flooding in
yes.
Next 10 days daily rain. Oh my God. Do you know what someone said? The clothes I've washed since last month hasn't dried. I'm also concerned because I'm like
2 weeks. Imagine 1 month.
I use a washing machine, but I'm thinking, am I going to spin dry all my clothes? Because there's some clothes, right, that I don't think it's ideal to spin dry. So there's certain clothes like something like this. I mean,
it's dry, of course.
I'm just like some of my clothes just to preserve the integrity of the clothes.
Of course.
Anyway, I think that's what we have to do. And now on page 5 says APC NWC, but yesterday was dry, so that would have been an opportunity for everyone to just wash and dry your clothes.
So it really last something to as well. Okay,
this is funny. But imagine people that live with neighbors. And then everybody looks and says, oh, today is dry. What's the line going to look like? Now on page 5, APC NWC overrules earlier Ayedatiwa on candidates list. On page 7 says, battle for regulation may cripple power reforms. NERC warrant. Orire kidnapping, Senate lawyers, CSOs divided over Makinde's push for UN probe. But I guess we'll start from the full jumping by 100 naira per
Yes, but before that, so sorry, but I think I would like to talk about the PFIPC.
Okay, cool.
The first story you read, because I think the story broke yesterday evening that he has been arrested as a result of the bench warrant that was actually issued by, you remember the police took him to court, Mr. Adili Adeyemi Matthews scandal. But a lot of things actually happened. In fact, I was listening to a show early this morning, and I was really I was really astounded how somebody who understands the inner workings of the government, right? This is the former minister. He was a former minister. He's a former board director, and he was able to explain how letters are issued, from the president, secretary to the federal government federation, the chief of staff, those dynamics that happened there. But I think the man was actually on bail, and he has refused. It appears that he's John bail, and then Justice George Malik, was forced to give that order that there's a bench warrant against him. Anywhere he's found, he should be arrested and then be brought back to court. Now, and a lot of serious issues that actually be able to follow through what happened when that arrest were made. When the arrest was actually made yesterday, there's some of those important questions that were actually asked. Okay, so the court, fixed 30th for his arraignment, for him to actually be able to present his case in the court, and there are a lot of other cases. Even as much as possible, has actually been calling for independent inquiry or independent panel to be able to investigate the matter. And in fact, early this morning we heard that Atiku Abubakar had a lobby firm that he used in the US that promised they actually tried to be able to help him get asylum in the US, but a lot of dynamics, the arrests are not really hard enough anyway, whether from the accuser, from the person accused, because he himself has actually come out severally to say, I've never met with Mr. Gbajabiamila. Most of our conversations, most of our discussions have actually been to talk about the Damilola Tanimola that died, mysteriously in the fire in Inferno at the hotel. And this amount of money that he has paid, because I listened to him 2 days ago, talking about the man himself, when he was actually speaking on one of the TV channels, and from his hiding before he was arrested yesterday. So that some of the stories was actually, to me, they were not really hiding up anyway. And I think it's very important. We, of course, it's a developing story, and we're trying to be able to get what is actually happening as far as that is actually concerned. The last story I will talk about before I go to the story is deductions about CBN. I think the Attorney General of the Federation is actually being probed. I've been asked some questions for us to ask that. But of course, this morning, Dangote announced 100 naira increase in the price of fuel. Of course, it is still a fallout. Yeah. That's why when it's just like one of my friends was actually saying, when the street of Hormone sneezes, the rest of the world catches cold, because it is where it is right now. Yeah. We thought that we were actually seeing the end, of the escalating tension, as well as escalating price. In fact, I thought we'd have anyway. But with the way it is now, we've seen the renewed attacks that have happened. In fact, and with some of the threats coming from the US, that they'll be charging about 20% for toll fees before the president walked back his talk. I'm talking about President Trump, and some of the tools that he said Iran, aim to be able to collect on the street. So it's creating a lot of problems, and it's creating a lot of challenges to the global economy. I'm sure one of the business story you read was last time, BKBTC forecast to the world. I think you read that as well. Because the implication of that is far-reaching. It's a domino effect, right? It has a lot of ripples that can happen on the street alone. So we've seen that now, 100 naira has actually been able to climb. So that at the gantry now is selling for about one, because it's now tied to dollars. Remember, he's actually buying the dollars now, and he's not selling to him in that. So all these dynamics as well. So most of the foreign exchange body intends to be able to shift it, because the agreement stopped in June. But we hope that nobody thought that maybe the war, even though it has actually been a very fragile ceasefire anyway, a fragile deal. But we wait now, he has to shift the burden as well. He's a businessman, he cannot be able to shoulder everything. But government have actually come in, we're trying to be able to see, because one of the things that at least we should also be able to commend this government for, and I think we should do that, is the fact that in the heat of this war, in the heat of the tension, availability is there. The petrol is available. Accessibility is there. Maybe we can talk about affordability, it might be expensive, but availability, I don't think we have a problem with availability. They made it very much available. I think the last story I'll take there was already kidnapping that you read. I think that is unfolding. And I listened to one of our shows yesterday, Mr. Bass's show, Reflection, where they're talking about, the governor calling for UN to be able to do that investigation. Even though I felt with the government, I think it's a politicization. to me, as a person, I think government is actually overreaching. The state is actually unguarded. As somebody who is actually the managed security of a state, are you saying that most of all these things are planned out? The kidnapping and the rescue was all politically motivated? I think
it leaves a lot of questions actually to be answered. But let's quickly just check out one story on the Punch paper so we can wrap up on the newspaper segment. On the Punch paper this morning, the Wednesday, 15th of July, is the big story. It says fake agency scandal. How IGP Special Forces arrested controversial DG in Osun hideout. This is on page 2 of the papers. Inside the 1-week manhunt that led to Adeyemi's arrest, Abuja High Court postpones arraignment until September 30. NBA, others push for evidence-driven investigations. Those are some of the riders on that story. And then quickly down below it says tears joy as abducted or your pupils reunite with parents, and then a lot of other stories, but I think we'll talk about the Oyo pupils being reunited with their parents. I've had a lot of people saying things like, but where are their abductors? Yeah, we're happy, right, that they believe this, but where are the abductors? Where are the some people believe that they've paid the fine. Some people believe that it's just
ransom. Okay.
Yeah, the ransom. Some people believe that it's just something.
Do you think Biblis that the 2 people that died, the 2 soldiers,
not soldiers?
Yeah, 2 soldiers died. The policeman was injured. So because that was what it's 2 soldiers died. The policeman was actually injured, and I think they said 8 people were arrested. Those would have been arrested. We heard about arrests. So maybe what I'm saying is the governor himself. First of all, I think because I saw, you see a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old boy who was asking, "Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?" And the mother was reunited with the kid, after undergoing the psychosocial therapy and the support at Bladu Capital. Teaching hospital, Bomosh over there, and they did that reuniting for those ones. And then, in fact, one of those kids, one of them was actually discovered with a hole in his heart. Yes, it was after the medical thing. I think they said it is actually it's a congenital issue that was actually born with it, but the parents didn't even know. It was until after they went through, the support that they went through, that the chief medical director there mentioned that they have to be able to put the child, through extensive care to ensure that that's actually cured. But I think I saw that, and you can be able to imagine, as a parent anyway, how relief, the sense of relief the parents there felt. Now, the governor came out on Monday, particularly the governor of Oyo State. He had a broadcast in Oyo State.
He called the United Nations
for investigation. So, but as much as possible, I don't know what the governor intended, because the report around, I declared my ambition today for presidency, and the following day, and that's exactly where I felt like he actually got it all wrong. And then I declared ambition, and the following day, this attack happened. He declared on the 15th of May, or the 15th of May was when the attack happened, and that he wanted United Nations or other international organizations to come around and come and investigate this matter. As much as possible, I don't take the fault, but if you try to politicize this, because for those soldiers who lost their life, in the course of this, I think it's a disservice to them. For the governor to mention that, you understand, to say this is staged. And I was talking about 1 year or 2 years, 3 years. I don't know, how will anybody else be able to play politics with such a very sensitive?
They always say it every time that the conversation around Nigeria's politics, economy, social dynamics.
Like, if you understand it sometimes,
it's like Netflix. It's like an Indian movie. It doesn't end. Like this, there's just a lot happening. But I'm happy more than anything to see that those children are back home. They've been interviewing that principal a lot. I think we need to give her a breather right now, because she's talking and talking and talking, and honestly, she's not the spokesperson for
they said if a man that goes to a lion's den and comes back will have a lot of stories to tell. You know, there's one I went to the house and said, how did you survive? Maybe I understand.
There was a journalist asking, how about the girls? Were they did they sexually assault them? And she says no. But I'm also thinking that
she said no.
In this state,
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, in this state she will also still be scared. Do you think she's going to say anything negative? Okay. She was even saying, they were taking care of them. They were giving. I'm telling you, I was shocked. I was like, someone that came out of. Imagine speaking that way. Someone that came out of.
Because today now they are like a national. They are a bargain chip for the terrorists. I'm saying that they are a bargain chip, because this terrorist knows that if anything happens to them, this is what they use to call human shield. Maybe in war parlance, they need to use them to be able to advance their interest, to advance their cause, and to advance their demands. So I really want to ensure we keep them fresh, so they can be able to use them to be able to make demands.
It's fine. No. Let's move on now and see what we have in the cartoon of the day real quick. The cartoon of the day is always exciting here at Business Day. Let's see what we have on that one. It shows two people. The Minister of Aviation, right, Festus Keyamo on the right hand side. On the left hand side, presidential aspirant, Mr. Peter Obi. It says, if someone can provide credible evidence I stole money as governor or as a private citizen, I would drop my political ambition. Then the aviation minister says, done. Fine, parking violation fine, 25,000. Name Mr. Peter Obi. I think this is all in.
So I mean, but I think there's been a controversy that I've followed this through. There have been a lot of uproar that I've actually been able to generate by this. In fact, I listened to a very explicit discussion about what happens to Mr. Peter Obi at but I think it was one actually be able to mention that in one of the interviews he had, in that very popular interview that I had with Today, and he mentioned about the fact that his life is under threat, which I think needed to be investigated. But at the same time, outside the case of what happened to him, the Minister of Aviation, because of course it happens within his purview, came out and provided a CCTV evidence of what actually happened. It's a drop off location at the airport, and we don't know what happens there. It's not there's no way to know what. And we don't know the fine that were actually attracted, in fact, for the fact that it was like his car parked there for almost 30 minutes before he was able to use his influence to secure the release of the car, and he drove off. And then for the fact that he's now playing the victim mentality, I'm talking about aviation now, let us be able to let everything come out in the open. And that's maybe I call it the chink in Peter's hammer, because he felt like he has never been on the wrong side of the law, and that's exactly what Mr.
The fact that he didn't pay it, was what was annoying to people, because it was like, you have 25,000 naira. So why you?
I think he said he spoke to the MD, and he was able to get it.
That's why how when you don't have anything that people want to hold you, looking for the littlest thing. To be honest, I will sit back later on to analyze this entire thing to see who is in the wrong. I mean, I'm not the police, but I'll just, because of course, you can call a favor, right? But I'm also thinking you have 25,000 naira now. Just paid it instead of calling a favor.
And they're not coming out as well and using that as they after my life, what they could have actually.
Right. Well, we'll leave it there and come back for more on Business Morning Live. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for
thank you very much for having me. You too. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a blast.
Right. Up next is the conversations on Business Morning Live. Do stay with us.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dory is heading the work in Africa.
very honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dory is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Business Morning Live show right here on Business Day Television. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Move on to our conversations this morning, and our first conversation talks about property pitfalls and some of the legal mistakes that are costing Nigerians millions. And of course, we have an amazing guest on the show this morning. But property remains one of the biggest investments many Nigerians will ever make. Yet it also is one of the areas where costly legal mistakes are mostly common. From buying land without proper verification to signing incomplete agreements to countless individuals losing millions of naira every year to avoidable errors, frauds, and disputes. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a landlord, a tenant, or a real estate investor, understanding the legal framework governing property transactions is essential to protecting your investment. Now, to help us unpack the common pitfalls and the practical steps that Nigerians can take to safeguard their property, we're joined by legal practitioner and property law expert, Barrister Tomi Olowa. Thank you so much for joining the show, Barrister.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
So it's very good to have you. Good morning, and hope you're not seeing the flood like we say in Nigeria. I hope you're not being affected in any way by the flood situation.
Well, the flood situation, everyone knows is there, but yeah, I'm fine. It's okay.
It's great that you're okay. So let's talk about our conversation today. When we talk about property pitfalls, what are some of the most common legal mistakes that Nigerians make, especially when buying lands or houses?
Yeah, there are quite a number of mistakes people make when they're trying to purchase properties. There are different mistakes, one of which is majorly affects people who are always trying to, keep something for themselves, like thinking it is too expensive to hire a lawyer or something. So one of the mistakes they make most of the time is that they just do around, they pay based on pressure, they pay before even getting to know exactly what they are buying. Probably pressure from someone telling them that this property, some other person are interested and ready to pay. So because of that, they end up paying before even doing any due diligence whatsoever. So the major mistake, once again, is the fact that people pay before doing due diligence or doing the proper thing that they should have done.
I hear you when you say one of the biggest mistakes is people paying before doing due diligence. Just like with anything, you have to make your due diligence. But I guess it's also a time factor thing. Maybe people are not there's just this hurry. I mean, especially in Lagos, there's just a lot of things happening, and that's why we see that land fraud remains a major concern. Now, what are the biggest red flags that buyers should watch out for before making any payment?
Yeah, the red flags you should watch out for are, number one, where there is this pressure, probably from the agent, from the owner, or, when the price is excessively low, when you see that it is too cheap. Yeah, let me put it that way. When the property seems to be too cheap, when it seems like they don't want you to go through the documents they have. The sellers, they don't want you to go through the documents, don't want you to do any research whatsoever. They just want you to pay, especially when they want you to pay in cash. Then that is a red flag we should watch out for if you intend to get any property at all, whether in Lagos or elsewhere.
So if it's too cheap, people should be worried.
Yeah, you should be worried.
So is that the major red flag? Are there any others?
Yeah, there are several which, I may not be able to pick right now until it comes right before me. Then I can easily say, oh, this. There are several. Sometimes one has to be very careful, especially when you're buying from people like, what do you call them? Omonele guys. That's the name we call them in Lagos, actually. Or probably the document, they don't have proper documents, they don't have maybe CFO, they don't have documents. Basically, you're not buying land, like buying land, buying house, buying anything like that. But what you're buying basically is the document. So when a property has no document, when you see a swampy area, when you see just they are willing to give you just receipt, they don't want to sign your document, your deed, then you should look out for it. This pressure for cash, quick cash and all that, you should look out for all of those things, because they can actually affect you. If you look deep down, there could be something they're trying to cover up. Sometimes those property might be under litigation and they feel they may not come out, on the winning side, so they give up. They look for means to quickly dispose the property, and that is why I said look out for the price as well.
But Barrister Olowa, let's talk about what makes for real ownership. Now, many people will assume that once they paid for land, they automatically own it. Legally, is payment alone enough to guarantee ownership of a piece of land?
No, payment alone does not transfer title. Before you can say you are the owner of a property, there are title documents that you are expected to get when you buy. And those title documents you should be looking out for. One, you could be looking out for a deed of assignment, CFO if it's a property that's under government acquisition. You should also be looking out for a deed of assignment. Sometimes someone can bequeath their property to some other persons, and by the way of deed of assignment, if it's registered deed of assignment, yes, you can be sure that you're buying well, depending on the root of title. So the first and the most important thing is the root of title. When the person has title and they pass the property to you, well, yes. And then there are documents. I've mentioned the documents you should be looking out for: CFO, deed of assignment, deed of gift, survey, registered survey. If it's a developed property, you could also be looking at for the approved building plan. And
Now, what are some of the key documents that every property buyer should insist on seeing and verifying before completing a transaction?
Okay. They should verify if there's any court judgment. You go to the court for verification. You could go to the land use to the land registry also for your verification. Those are the things you need to verify. You can also go to the Surveyor General's office, to verify if that property is registered. I mean, the survey is registered there. Look at when you want to also verify, you verify. Most of the verifications are done at the land registry, Surveyor General, and the courts, because most of the issues are either court related, or also when you're buying from someone who is deceased, probably the name on the document you have they're giving to you is the name of the person who is deceased. You need to ensure that they have letters of administration. That is very, very important, because I think I forgot to mention that it is very important. You need to ensure that the property you're buying, there is a letters of administration on it if the person is deceased and the children intend to dispose of the property.
Right.
Yeah. So judgment. Okay.
Right. So earlier on, you talked about due diligence, which I agree is really important. Talk to us about what the process of conducting a due diligence. What does that process typically involve?
Yeah, due diligence is conducting search. It has to do with conducting search. It has to do with of which the search is not just in the Lagos land registry. You have to conduct search, as I said earlier, in the Surveyor General office. Go to the court, conduct search, inspect properly. Due diligence. Sometimes people buy property without even inspecting or knowing exactly what the property looks like. So inspecting the physical structure of the property is important. After looking at the physical structure, also conduct a legal search. That's part of what we call you doing your due diligence.
Barrister Lo, are you still there?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now we've actually seen cases where multiple people claim ownership of the same piece of land. Now, how can buyers actually protect themselves from this kind of dispute?
Yeah, to protect yourself from that kind of dispute, you will have to first ensure that you do your search. I said they have to go through the process of checking online. Checking in the land registry. Then after checking in the land registry, to ensure that the property you're buying is safe, you also have to, after checking in the registry, go to where to check if the family, most of this time, this thing you're talking about, two people being dragging one property, most of the time it happens where they buy from the so-called Omonile. When they buy from them, these people are prone to selling to other persons when they get broke. So what you can do is first go verify if that property belongs to their family, and insist on getting not just receipt, because what they give you most of the time is receipt. When you get the receipt, prepare your documents, your deed of assignment, insist that they sign it. Then after they sign it, you go to the land registry and ensure that that document is registered. If not, because of course the court smiles on the first person who registered, the first in time prevails. That is the rule. So whosoever registers their property first, has more upper hand when it comes to litigation regarding land.
So whoever registers property first has the upper hand. I like that, and thank you for clarifying that. But now let's talk about landlord-tenant relationships. What are some of the legal mistakes that both parties frequently make that later you've seen over time resulting in court cases?
Okay, one of the mistakes I have observed in landlord-tenant matters. Okay, let me start from the landlord. Now, landlords sometimes evict tenants without without knowing exactly what the Land Use Act says, without looking at what the tenancy law says. Most of them end up violating Section 44, which is against a landlord forcing the tenant out of a property without going through the normal legal process. Sometimes they forget to give notices. I mean, the landlord, they don't want to give notices. They don't want to waste time in court. So they go ahead, evicting the tenant other means, which most of the time they might eventually end up in the in prison, or probably have to pay some fine for doing that. Another one is the fact that some of these tenants also can be provoking. So for the tenants, the mistakes they mostly make is ignoring notices when they are given. Sometimes they also end up, paying without getting receipts when they are in a hurry to get an apartment. They just pay, they don't wait to get their receipt. They don't even have an agreement. That the agreement majorly affects the landlord actually, not too much on the tenant, but then sometimes it can affect the tenant too. So the both parties, for that tenancy agreement, it is important just to cover all which they have agreed upon before the beginning of the tenancy. Let me see if there's any other mistake. Yeah, there could be several, but probably I can't lay my hands on them right now.
Fine. Now, also, is it advisable to rely on verbal agreements in property transactions or tenancy agreements, or should everything always be documented?
Exactly. Everything has to be documented. Verbal agreements don't work when it comes to properties. Either you're selling, if there is a lease, either you're buying, whichever way you want to look at it, it is not advisable. It is not advisable to do verbal agreements. Everything has to be written, and not just written, but endorsed.
Let's talk about Nigerians looking to invest in real estate as a way of building wealth. What are some of the legal safeguards that they should put in place from the onset?
Okay, one of the legal safeguard they should look out for is, number one, they should ensure that they get a property lawyer involved. That's number one. Yeah, they should also ensure that they do the due diligence to see the property. They ensure that they conduct search. They should ensure that everything, according to what I've been saying from the beginning, it has to be you conduct your search, ensure that everything you're doing, you go through by written means, from contract of sale to the deed of assignment, and ensure that every part of it is properly endorsed. Do your search before making any payments. That is the most important. Ensure that search is conducted in the courts, in the other places I have mentioned before now. Ensure you conduct that search before you go ahead making any payment whatsoever.
Now, Barrister Oluwa, on a final note, if you could give prospective buyers, landlords, and tenants one piece of legal advice to help them to avoid these costly mistakes, what would it be?
Well, the advice I will give intending buyers of properties or people who intend to go into property investment in future, I will advise that you be careful, take every necessary legal step, do your due diligence, buy your property with the help of your lawyer, ensure that you involve not just a lawyer, but a property lawyer actually, in your transaction, and don't look at the cost, because sometimes people will be about, oh, the cost, but you see that it's just a fraction, just a portion of what you're paying. And by the time you have to go through legal, through litigation, you will see that you have to spend even more than what you're paying your lawyer to do due diligence for you. So ensure you do due diligence.
Well, thank you very much for your time on the show this morning, Barrister Tomi Olowa. It was really insightful speaking with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, and you too. Thank you.
Well, still to come after the break, we'll be seeing how artificial intelligence is changing business, banking, and jobs in Nigeria. Do stay with us.
At Providus Bank, we're committed to your growth and success. You're never alone on the journey. Our personalized relationship banking is how we do things together. It's what sets us apart. We value every individual and partnership and treat them as such. We're committed to helping you grow and celebrating your success. This is your life story, your future, your forward. This is all about you. Let's move you forward. Providus Bank.
As fuel prices continue to rise, more Nigerians are beginning to consider electric vehicles as a cheaper alternative to traditional petrol-powered cars. To understand what electric vehicle ownership really looks like, Business Day visited the Kore EV charging station, located inside the Federal Palace Hotel grounds in Victoria Island, Lagos. As electric vehicle adoption gathers pace, Lagos now has over 20 public EV charging stations, making it easier for motorists to own and charge electric vehicles across the state. We spoke with the station attendant and 2 EV drivers.
My name is Adedeji Adedayoluwasei. I work for Kore Mobility and I'm a charge station manager there.
Who shared practical insights on charging times, running costs, and what prospective owners should know before making the switch.
Okay, this is a fast charge. So we have the slow charge, we have the fast charge. The fast charge is DC, the slow charge is AC. So for a fast charge, it depends on the type of cars. I've charged a Cybertruck that charged up to like 3 hours, 100%. And we can charge like a Javan car within 2 hours or 1 hour, 30 minutes, it's done charging. So it depends on the type of, a BYD can charge for like 2 hours, 30 minutes or 2 hours. So it depends on the type of cars. But for fast charge, it's much more faster. And slow charge can take like maybe 5 hours to 6 hours to charge fully. And a lot of cars come here to charge, apart from the cars we own, which is the Cab Zero. So we have a lot of private cars coming to charge. So it's a very busy location. In a day, we do about maybe 12 private cars, apart from, because we have a lot of Cab Zero coming to charge. So overall per se, we do like maybe 35 to 40 cars to charge, and including the private cars also.
Charging of this vehicle is not taking much time, maybe 1 hour, 35 minutes for the full charging. The price is fair. This model is 2025 model, BYD, build your dream, actually. We have no issue, no changing of oil, no changing of oil filter, nothing. So it's just a rotors and battery that construct everything. Maybe only the tires, the brake oil, that is the only thing that we can make change of.
To charge the electric vehicle is 500 naira per kilowatt. This is Caspian though. For this Caspian, it takes like maybe 35 kilowatts or 40 kilowatts to get full. That's 20,000. If it's for business, once they charge like this full, so they can come back the next day to come and charge. Personal, you can use this for like maybe 1 week to 3 days. Full electric is much more preferable. Fuel is very, very expensive now. Charging is not even as expensive as fueling your car. But for this one, you can charge for like maybe 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and it can last you for a whole week. For personal use, it can last for a whole week. I'm not even talking about business. So this one, when it comes to the maintenance and the whole package of the car, is much more preferable than petrol car. In Kore, we sell electric vehicles. So what comes with buying vehicles from Kore is we also offer maintenance. So we're also responsible to maintain your cars for you. So the maintenance is like maybe the battery. They'll check the battery of the car. It's a very, very strong battery. So the longevity is very, very strong. It's much more preferable compared to fuel.
Electric vehicle is cost effective, very easy to maintain. You don't need to buy fuel. Hybrid is more costly than electric vehicle. Go for electric because it doesn't give problem. I've been driving an electric vehicle about a year now, and there has been any complaint since. The only thing is that you gauge tire, change tire twice That was only the maintenance done so far. Electric vehicle moves faster, very, very fast. There are modes of driving. We have standard, we have sport, and we have eco. You can choose. If you are traveling, as if you are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan now, you can choose. You can be on sport. Then that means you are flying.
While electric vehicles may require a higher initial investment, many drivers believe the lower operating costs make them a worthwhile option in today's economy. Akemi Obong reporting for Business Day. For more insights on electric vehicles, visit premium.businessday.ng. Would you choose an electric vehicle, a hybrid, or a petrol-powered car? Let us know in the comments.
For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning Live here on Business Day Television. Now we move into our next conversation this morning, which is all about artificial intelligence, which is no longer a futuristic concept. It's already transforming how businesses operate, how banks serve customers, and even the skills employers are looking for, from AI-powered customer service and fraud detection to predictive analytics and automated decision making. The technology is reshaping industries across Nigeria. But while AI presents enormous opportunities for growth and innovation, it also raises important questions about job displacement, data privacy regulation, and whether Nigerian businesses are prepared for this new era. Now, to help us unpack the reality of what AI is for businesses and workers, we are joined by Gbemileke Emmanuel Falade, is a senior data analyst and also a data scientist. Welcome to the show, Gbemileke.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now, let's go straight into our conversation today. Artificial intelligence has obviously become one of the biggest business conversations globally, from AI, from cybersecurity to banking to fintech. How would you describe where Nigeria currently stands in its AI adoption?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. Firstly, I would like to give a detailed perspective to what AI means holistically. When we say AI, we are used to the term, like we would think of the robotics, the big machines, and the rest. But interestingly, AI is a lot more closer to us than we even know, than we can even imagine. And many people interact with it, interestingly, without even realizing it. Many people interact with AI without realizing it. So generally, I would say Nigeria is ahead on enthusiasm level. More like the hype around it. Of course, Nigerians, we are very full of the hype. AI is this, AI is that. But we're a little bit behind on the infrastructure, on the things that that enables this AI, that enables us to deploy this AI. We're a little bit behind, but we are so big on the hype. And looking at it at individual level, I feel like adoption is quite remarkable in that end at the individual level, because there's a research that says Nigeria's online population uses generative AI, like the likes of ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and the rest, at a rate that is above the global average. So on the individual level, we're quite, the adoption is quite remarkable. And this is driven by the easy access, the easy accessibility via our mobile phones. And looking at it at the institutional level, financial services, banks, they lead the way. They lead the way. Every top bank in Nigeria now runs one or two of some couple of AI in their production. And interestingly, even CBN 2026 guideline, it formally recognizes artificial intelligence and machine learning as a baseline standard for anti-money laundering and monitoring. So CBN itself recognizes the use of AI. So CBN is the regulators for Nigerian banks, and they recognize the use of AI to counter money laundering. So it's a very, very good, it's a welcomed initiative. And they are not just permitting it, but they are even mandating it. It's being mandated to adopt it. So that's that. I think that's the level of adoption so far in Nigeria. Thank you.
So the adoption is great according to you. Now, we also see that many people interact with AI every day without realizing it. How is AI already changing the way that Nigerian banks operate behind the scenes?
Yeah, so this is a very, very interesting question. So most customers never see the AI. Most customers of the bank, they don't see AI, but what they just experience is the faster, service, the experience of faster decision, and they be, how come my bank is able to detect that this transaction is a fraudulent transaction on time? No, but they don't see the real picture. They don't see the AI. They just see the outcome. They don't see the output. And behind the scene, AI is doing most of these things. So I'll give a few examples. When we talk about fraud detection, AI enables the bank to catch suspicious activity, suspicious transaction faster than any customer would even notice. This is the work of AI. Another example, I can say that when we look at loan applications, so of course, it requires a whole lot to get a loan from the bank and everything, but there's some background due diligence going on. But with the help of AI, in fact, that's what the fintechs are now capitalizing on. With the help of AI, you can get instant loan. So they're not just giving loan blindly. Interestingly, their algorithms, their AI running behind the scene. They have no ability to access loan in minutes. This is powered majorly by AI, because the AI will check through the customer's transaction behavior, their credits, their debits, then it will generate a credit score based on the machine learning, how you program the score, and then it will make informed decision that, okay, this is the amount we can lend this person before, so that it won't fall into a bad loan. This is the amount, okay, we can get, this is the percentage we need, interest percentage we need to get from this person. So these are all powered by AI, and a lot of customers are having, they're getting credit, they're getting loan faster, and also banks are also reducing their bad loans with the help of AI. Another angle that we can look at is the customer experience. Of course, we are new to that. When you get to the website of maybe any organization, you see chatbots. The chatbot, you see virtual assistants, and these are AI that has been implemented 24/7. You can go there 12 a.m., 1 a.m. They would interact with you, and they have this domain knowledge of the organization. You ask your question. In fact, you don't even need to speak to a customer agent, a human customer agent. They can literally answer most or some of our questions. So, and it's giving the staff the opportunity to do other important things. And another most important angle that I would want to talk about here is the operational angle, because this is where AI is being the use case is the value for the use case is very high in this sense. So the operational angle is what the customer won't see, because its operation is within the bank. But this is the ROI, the return on interest of this particular angle. It's very big on the bank or on any organization. So from my own experience, so a brief story from my own experience. I once worked across two banks that were merging, and during a major bank major. I created an AI agent that was able to translate SQL queries so that we could reconcile data between the two banking systems. So the two banking systems, they are not on the same environment, but I was able to create a query so that I can use the query on one banking system to run it on the other one, and it will run without any error. So this is what manually this would have taken months for any analyst to do. So this has saved us a lot of time, and even in terms of production, it has helped us in terms of relating with customers and a lot of things. So this is from the operational perspective that's nobody pays attention to, but that is where the banks, the financial institutions are actually getting more of the advantage of AI. So in fact, one common one we don't pay attention to is the ATM. We know the automated teller machine, we know, is a type of AI also. So weekends you don't need to enter into the bank, you just go at your convenience. So that's a type of AI. So when customers experience a better service than it used to be, AI are largely behind the operations. Thank you.
Now let's go beyond banking. I like that you've already done a very fleshed out, talked about banking, but beyond banking, which of the sectors of the Nigerian economy do you believe stands to benefit the most from AI adoption over the next 5 years?
Okay, yeah. So beyond banking, well, I would go with first of all, okay, I will mention a few. But agriculture tops my list. Agriculture, so we say something about agri-tech, more like mixing technology with agriculture, and that's the future, interestingly. So as it stands, agriculture stands as the sector employing the largest share of Nigerians, according to research. And owing to that fact, there's something called precision farming, where AI-driven drones or AI-driven systems and sensors, they can analyze the soil moisture, the nutrient level in real time, and they can help to optimize irrigation, the fertilization usage. These are AI. These are what AI can do in agriculture. It can help in disease and pest control. You can predict that, okay, this can help smallholder farmers, the use of mobile application to scan some crops leaves for early signs of disease. This is what AI can do, so that it can prevent widespread of devastations before it happens. It can also help. We can still in under agriculture, we can say value chain and market linkage. AI platform can help us predict the optimal times of harvest, and to connect the farmers directly to the buyers. So these are what AI can do for agriculture, and I see that a very, very big prospect. I will go to healthcare also. Another sector, is healthcare. Healthcare, we can have AI algorithms that assist doctors in detecting anomalies in medical scans. Of course, implementing this, you don't work in isolation. You also work with the industry experts, the subject experts, definitely. AI can also help in healthcare to, for disease outbreak prediction. Can use AI to predict, analyze demographics and infection, to see the forecast of how this infection can break out, where it's likely to break out next, due to the fact that, it was, first of all, in this side of the world, it's likely to come here. So all of these are what AI can do. And that sector, I would say, is media. Yeah, interesting. Media, it's also, in fact, it's one of the big guns. AI is transforming how news is being gathered now, how news is being produced, and how it is being distributed. But of course, to just put a caveat to that, the editorial judgment, the credibility, and the trust is still, as of today, remains irreplaceable. And it is still human that runs the credibility and the editorial judgment. But AI is doing a lot in the media space. Even still in the media space, we talk about film production. Of course, I'm very sure you would have been, maybe while surfing through the net, you would have just found your way around some short movie clip that has to do with AI. Interestingly, I just, also the nicer note, sometimes I just look at, my age parents when I go visit them and how they are engrossed with some of these AI movies. I'm like, this is not a serious movie, but they find it interesting. So that is what AI can do in media, film production. There are a lot of channels on YouTube, on Instagram, that they are only AI generated videos, and they are making money with it. So even advertisement, there's limit to you rarely see people using individual as a brand now, because you can literally use AI and just you won't have to stress yourself much. Content creation. So yeah, AI in all of these spaces, I feel like these are the sectors that AI tends to benefit in the next 5 years, and other sectors also that I can't mention, but this is just to mention but a few.
Now, for some of the SMEs that actually think that AI is expensive or only for large corporations, what are some of the practical AI tools or use cases that they can adopt today to improve their productivity?
Okay. Yeah. So for SMEs, okay, I think I would say AI is saying AI is expensive is relatively a might. So AI is not expensive, because the most for SMEs, because the most powerful AI tools and SME needs are free, or maybe let's say nearly free, and it's on their phone already. They already own the phone. It's on the phone they already own. So okay, let's do a practical use case today for an SME, a small medium enterprise. Practical use cases today is you have a small medium business, drafting marketing copy, customer replies. You can use AI to draft, or help me draft a script for advertisement, and then you still use AI, and like I said, free or nearly free. Use AI to run your advert, just like I said in the last question. Another use case, we can say, okay, run a WhatsApp-based customer assistance. WhatsApp has the AI feature. It responds to customers, artificially, like with AI, automatically. We can say, summarize my invoice, and just normal simple bookkeeping. These are what free AIs can do for you for SMEs. So, like I said, AI being expensive is relatively a might for SMEs, and you can do a lot of research, competitors research for SMEs, so you can know how to position your business well. And you can use AI chat tools for that. Relatively free, we use it every day. So being expensive for SMEs is relatively a might. So it's not expensive. So the barrier isn't about money. It's about knowing what to ask. It's about prompting, and there's something called prompt engineering. So it's the way you are able to get the information you need out of AI that matters. And this is one of the skills that over time, with time, it becomes more. It will become more. It will be something that we all need to learn. Of course, it will be something related to prompt engineering. How you can fine-tune AI, you can ask questions to get what you want. So my advice is, for SMEs, you can pick one repetitive task that eats a lot of hours every week in your time, and you automate that first. So maybe it might be your bookkeeping, it might be something else, something that is repetitive that takes a lot of your time. But don't try to become an AI company. So that's one of the mistakes you might make on time. Don't try to become an AI company. Just solve one bottleneck. Don't place all your processes on AI 100% for SMEs. So I think that answers the question. Thank you.
Yes, it does answer my question. And we also know that AI is expected to automate certain tasks. So which of these jobs do you think are most likely to change, and what could the opportunities, what are some of the new opportunities that could emerge as AI adoption grows?
Okay. So thank you. So most exposed roles, the most exposed roles are roles that are routine, roles that are repetitive, and roles that are rule-based, more like rule-based work. That if this is happening, do this. Repetitive and routine roles, such as we can say customer service, we can say data entry, we can say just not basic processing rules. Rules, I mean, but we must be honest. These rules, they are more like the classic entry point for fresh graduates or fresh graduates coming into the industry. Most of these rules, they are the entry level point, and it's the effect will be on young people. The effect on young people will be very real, very, very real. So the new opportunities that would be emerging from those kind of from this now is data science, those that are in charge of the AI that everybody is running to, data scientists, the AI engineers, the AI governance. So now when we're talking about AI, of course, we need to talk about risk, we need to talk about governance. So the AI governance, the model, the risk management, the prompt-driven workflows that has to do with prompting AI, that has to do with using AI. So the AI ethics, the AI audit. So these are the careers that barely existed so many years ago. Because of AI coming into the picture now, they are beginning to exist. But of course, not everyone will become techie. Not everyone will leave what they were doing before to go and learn these new emerging roles. So the existing roles are now being upgraded. So they are not erased, definitely. So not like you're a credit officer and before it takes you like, let's say, 5 days to produce a memo. It can happen in minutes if you adopt AI. So an analyst trying to do some briefings, and it takes 2 hours. It can happen it takes weeks. It can happen in hours. So all of this is where the existing rules are now being updated. So AI replaces tasks, definitely, but it replaces tasks faster than it will replace your job. So if it replaces your tasks, you have it's your role now to see how you can manage those tasks that AI is replacing, how you can adopt AI and work with it. So AI will replace tasks faster than it's replacing your job, but it is absolutely reshovels those that thrives in them. So those that can work with how tasks that adopts AI are those that would continue to hold their job.
Right. Bimileke, you've spoken a lot about some of this very, very important details when we talk about AI adoption. But there's also some people that are of the school of thought that AI could replace workers. Do you think that Nigerians should be worried, or should they instead focus on adapting their skills?
Yeah, so this is and of course I read these questions and I've been in the midst of this discussion and both feelings are valid. They are very valid, but there's only one is very important to note. So the worry is understandable. You can be worried that AI is coming to replace the job or something, but change that is this fast is somehow unsettling. When I just realized that what I could do 3-5 years ago, suddenly something else can do it. So it's quite unsettling. But let's also realize that the most constant thing is change. The most constant thing is change. So, but this is what we should understand. It's just like an airplane. We have the captain, and then we have the co-pilots. We have the pilots. We have the co-pilots. So AI is like the co-pilot, is like the assistant captain. So the professional, the practitioner, you yourself, you remain the captain. So judgment, context, a lot of things, accountability stays human. So don't let us believe that AI will replace workers. No, it is the real division is not AI versus human. No, it is professionals who use AI versus professionals who don't. So that is where the division is. So it's not a competition of AI versus human here. No. So that is it. So wherever we find ourselves, let's find a way to do your job better. Let's find a way to do our jobs better with AI, because of that is the path we are going now. Thank you.
We often also see data described as the field that powers AI. How well are Nigerian businesses managing and leveraging their data today?
Okay, so honestly, to be very, very sincere, this is the weakest link. With my experience, I would say this is the weakest link so far. AI is useless. I'm going to use the word useless without clean and structured, ethically handled data. So because of course we argue that AI is the fuel that powers AI. Data is the fuel that powers AI. So a new organization, they only discovered this data problem when they try to deploy AI on top of them. That's the point they discovered that, we've not been having a lot of clean and structured data, and it's a problem. But interestingly, banks, financial institutions, banks, they are furthest ahead. because regulations as first regulation forced them to be disciplined with data. Banks are highly heavily regulated, so they force them to be disciplined with data. So banks, financial institutions, they really have this issue. But other sectors, maybe some other sectors might still have the data scattered across spreadsheets, not even databases. Other sectors can have their data in folders. Other sectors, they have the data in people's head. That's why when someone wants to resign, there's no business continuity plan, DCP in place, because of course a lot of things that the company is tied to is with someone, and ordering of knowledge and everything. So that's the issue some people face. And there is also a data sovereignty issue. So I will speak briefly to that. So most of the data powering these AI tools in Nigeria, most of our data structures and infrastructure, they are not Nigerian. So they are not Nigerian, and sometimes it's more of an ethical issue, kind of. But of course, over time, we've been finding our way around it. And everyone wants AI, but few people wants to do that dirty data work. Few people wants to clean it up. Few people wants to put things in place from the scratch, from the foundation. And the data work is literally AI work. AI work is literally data work. You can't talk about AI without data. So my advice is for organizations looking to use AI should go back to the foundation, to go back to the base, to the foundation, and get their data structured rightly. So I think that's the only way forward. Thank you.
My final question for you will basically be on regulations, which is really important because when we talk about all of these new policies, new adoptions, we need to talk about regulations. What are some of the does Nigeria need stronger policies and regulations to govern its use? And if so, what should policymakers prioritize?
Okay, yeah, so regulation is yes. So yes, I agree. But the goal should be smart regulation. But before we're talking about regulation, so there is something also that is what's understanding that in all of this, we can't replace what we call human in the loop. So there's something called human in the loop, and let's agree that AI can hallucinate. It is very important to know that AI can hallucinate. So a person, there must always be a person to validate any output at any time from AI. AI can hallucinate. So having that mindset, it even helps in what you are building, such that regulations has little or let's say less work to do when you even have that understanding that there is a need for human in the loop. Now back to regulation. Yes, but the goal should be a smart regulation. The National AI Strategy, the NDPA, the Data Protection Act, and the CBN. I said earlier that CBN was moved to encourage AI. In fact, mandated it in anti-money laundering monitoring. So that's a very welcomed idea. But however, regulation is very important. Of course, regulations that protects data are still in place, which of course extends to AI. But apart from that, organizations also has a role to play. The risks of organization, the governance team of organizations have a role to play. In my organization, of course, we have AI framework that we cannot even go outside it. We work within that framework because that's part of the security, the risk. We have taken into consideration the risk and everything. So we work within that framework given. So yeah, but in a bid to regulate, I would also advise and suggest to the regulators that our goal is to protect the people, protect the data, but let's balance it such that we don't freeze or we don't discourage innovation, because sometimes it can be very hard. We're trying to regulate, we are discouraging innovation. But yes, I agree, and discussions and more regulations are currently going on as we speak on the use of AI. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gbemileke Falade, for joining us this morning on Business Morning Live. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thank you for the insightful conversation.
Thank you.
From AI, we'll certainly be going into the world of business, of hospitality. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dorin is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about Business Day. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day Television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day Television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
And welcome back to Business Morning Live. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Tourism is often described as one of Africa's biggest untapped economic opportunities. Beyond attracting investors, visitors, it's an industry with the power to create jobs, support entrepreneurship, preserve culture, and drive economic growth. But with Africa home to the world's youngest population, an important question remains: are young people being equipped to lead the future of hospitality and tourism? From digital tourism and sustainable travel to hospitality careers and youth entrepreneurship, there are growing opportunities, but also challenges around skills, funding, and access. Well, joining us to discuss how Nigeria and Africa can better prepare young people for the future of the industry is Marvelous Dada, is the president of the Tourism and Hospitality Mentorship for Development Foundation, the TMD Foundation, which is the biggest hospitality mentorship program. Welcome to Business Morning Live, Marvelous.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's always a delight to speak to you. Now, Marvelous, tourism is often celebrated as a major employer globally. Now, in practical terms, how significant is the opportunity for young Nigerians and Africans today?
Yeah, so presently tourism is one of the largest employer of labor, and the world is looking into the tourism industry much more than ever before. So for the African community, for the Nigerian community, I believe it gives them that share to tap into global opportunity, to regardless of the limitation that the nation portray. It gives them the opportunity to actually contribute to global economy and the great things that happen from a global point of view.
Now, many young people, right, like yourself, still don't see tourism and hospitality as a long-term career path, but you're doing it differently. So why do you think that perception exists, and how can it be changed?
All right, I would say, firstly, from the academic, or should I say from the tertiary institution, for young minds that study hospitality, travel, and tourism as a discipline, we oftentimes see the disconnect. So the environment that they learn in, and I'm not talking about just maybe the school physical environment. I'm talking about the learning environment. Makes them see tourism completely different from today's reality. So you find somebody studying tourism, and maybe the kind of tourism being portrayed to them, and they feel that there is something else they can do with their life other than giving their best interest in that particular part. So many times the limitation is perception. The investment into how people perceive tourism. To other persons in developing countries, one of the things you would notice is that they invest so much in perception, how that the environment, the infrastructure, the learning aids, and the things available to these young minds help them see the need for them to be part of what is being built within the tourism industry. And I think this is a major gap we have in Nigeria. So when you see the few ones that are interested in this space, they are only interested in the glamour. That's why you see that festive season are only the time when many persons talk about traveling, or during the times when we have peak seasons, when we have activities going on, and you see conversations around tourism. So there is no perception that is supporting structure, because definitely there is no even structure that will keep the perception going in and out of season. So I think that's the major issue that is affecting many young minds now.
And now that we've spoken about these issues, when we talk about preparing these young people for the industry, what are the skills that employers are actually looking for today?
Okay, I think communication, the ability to adapt to today's need, and more or less information, the ability to relate with the demand of today's world. And sadly, the academic infrastructure we have in our nation is not providing that. Very recently I made a post with respect to the fact that education is still the key to success. It's just that the luck has changed. So now as a nation, we are building for a world that no longer exists. What we see as innovation in our Nigeria today is actually the throwback of many nations. How that what we are building as success today are things that many nations have moved past. And when I'm talking about many nations, I'm not even talking about maybe leading tourist destinations in the world. And even a few African countries even showing us the roadmap. Let's look at Rwanda, making heavy investments into tourism. The Champions League final was played between Arsenal and PSG, of which the two clubs were wearing Visit Rwanda clothes. Imagine the level of visibility that it was brought to that nation, because this is a nation that they are looking into proper investment into tourism. So I am seeing that while there is demand for the youth with respect to the ability to adapt to the times that we have now, the infrastructure to sustain that hunger, that drive is what we are lacking as a nation. And so the things that employers are looking for, they're looking for adaptability, they're looking for them being tech savvy, the ability to bring AI. We're in the AI age, the ability to utilize AI in our present time. And these are the things I think employers are looking for. But I'm still of the opinion that as a nation, we can support by, in like bringing these things into places or systems where we have young minds gather, like schools, like campuses, and like NYSC and what have you. So that's my take on that.
Right, you made really solid points there, but now let's talk about technology and how it's reshaping almost every industry. How are digital platforms and this AI you mentioned, social media, content creation, how are they changing tourism careers for young Africans?
Yes, access to information, I must say, yes, access to information. You can be right here in Nigeria doing a whole lot globally. And I think technology has taking out the limitation of location barrier now. For those that are building solution, there are structures to put out their work outside. I say too often that a man full of capacity but is wrongly positioned will never be seen. And one of the things technology has done is to help with positioning. So for persons that are building very well, technology gives them the edge to project themselves, to sell themselves, to market their ideas, to tell their stories, to help build the perception of the nation. I can pick up my phone now, I go to a place like Ogun State, do a video of the Olumo Rock and beautiful storytelling, put it out there, and someone that I've never heard about Olumo Rock before can relate with what they are seeing, and can wish to even visit the destination. So I think technology has given us that means to add more reach to what we build, and I think it's something we really have to appreciate. And I would equally say there is now information is everywhere. Information is not locked. There is much more access to information. I think those are the two things I would say topsy for me. Funding, yes, here and there, the opportunity, access to opportunities that are equally not. If you cannot be there in person, you can join virtually or remotely. I think that's another beautiful thing technology has done for us.
Right, technology has actually done a lot, and you've highlighted some of these things. Let's now talk about Nigeria, which has incredible tourism assets. We talk about culture, festivals, to incredible nature and entertainment. But what's stopping us from translating this into more jobs for young people?
Okay, I would say, let me start off by saying, many times when you see few organizations doing well, talking about their national impact, many times their impact is streamlined to a few states. The impact most of the time is not national. You're talking about some persons in maybe 8 states when it comes to their impact and influence. And I'm starting off with that because nationally, the impact of the treasures we have is not so fair. So, we have some sites in Nigeria that are very untapped, and even the sites that are tapped, we are not doing well in projection. Now, there is a side of, we are big on saying potential. Oh, let's harness our potential. And I'm saying, even the potentials we have discovered, how far have we maximize it? So we are having maximization of the tourist sites we've discovered, and we are equally having sites that we've equally not discovered at all. I was having conversation with a few friends yesterday. Many are talking about how that, if you want somebody to enjoy what Nigeria has to offer when it comes to tourism, they should go beyond Lagos. So they should visit the north, they should visit the south, the southeast. So I believe we do not have that structure to evenly communicate the treasures we have. So if you go to the north now, the north have so much to offer, but we do not have like a proper documentation, like a database of the historical sites, the tourist sites. I was in a meeting very recently. Somebody was mentioning that a particular city celebrate festivals every single day. And those are the things that are not well documented. While we have our limitation, I think we still have a thing with projection, we have a thing with branding, we have a thing with communication. I am of the opinion over time that I think we should have a minister for branding. Or under the Ministry of Tourism, we should have a subunit.
Maybe to be you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just made a joke. I said maybe that minister will be you, but carry on.
To just help us, building proper branding. And let me conclude my point by saying this. If you go online and maybe try to get data of what Nigerian tourism infrastructure look like, you will not find so much resource to interface with. And when there is no data, there cannot be investment, because every investor wants calculated risk. So every investor wants to know that when I come in, what are the pros, what are the cons for this investment. So, and even for the jurisdiction where we think we are doing well, for instance, you say, oh, Lagos, this and that, I still believe that there is more that can be done, and we are camping around little zones where we have many more that are yet to be. It's just like parable of the talent, when we are hiding our one talent when that one has the ability to produce 5. So I believe so well that there are still many more untapped zones, and for the tapped zones we are still under utilizing it.
I hear you when you talk about structure really as an impediment, and how we're not speaking enough about some of the tourism attractions in other parts away from Lagos, and just the lack of structure. But your organization focuses on mentorship. From your experience, what's the biggest gap that young people face? Is it access to opportunities? Is it the funding gap? Is it the skills? Is it guidance? What are they lacking?
All right, it's a big question. Okay, fine. For mentorship, I would not say mentorship is so much of a problem at the moment. You can, build like some momentum on LinkedIn, get connected to a mentor. I think the biggest issue they are facing now is integrating, proper integration into the industry. A good example is internships, for instance. There are opportunities. I've seen many persons reach out to me to say, oh, marvelous, I have this internship opportunity for 10 persons, for 5 persons, but these opportunities are in scarce areas. What I mean is that these opportunities are in high-end areas, maybe for instance Ikeja, and we are having the student or the youth live somewhere in Ikorodu, and if they are to commute from Ikorodu to Ikeja, it's a whole lot. So I think while we have the opportunity, the systems to make the opportunity accessible is what is absent. So we are having, if we are to say that we want the youth to compete very high, we have to bring them into an environment that can show them these possibilities. And organizations, or should I say organizations that have this system in place in Nigeria, they are not everywhere. That's just the honest truth. They are not everywhere. So for the youth to now access this organization, sometimes they are faced with challenges of transportation. Sometimes they are faced with challenges of accommodation. Definitely, an average person cannot, get an apartment. Maybe, for instance, on the island. You would not say a early career graduate, or should I say, maybe young 400 level student going for IT should be able to afford maybe a 2-bed on the island. I'm just putting the fact out here. So we have these gaps, that the opportunity, but the pathway to this opportunity is more expensive than the opportunity itself. So it is the issue at this time. So we're now having people needing to settle for survival than rather for what the industry demand, rather than alignment to the industry itself. They are just settling to survive. For instance, you are seeing somebody study, let me say, tourism. Let me even say, for instance, mechanical engineering, and the person does not even have somewhere to intern within that industry. And the closest place the person ends up settling with is maybe working with, maybe working in one cafe or something that is completely detached from the industry. It's the same thing we are having in the tourism industry. We have airlines, we have hotels, we have tourism sites, we have tech infrastructures and many units that interplay with our industry, wanting to bring the student on board. But we now have this discharge, like for some hotels, they do not have a layover, and for some hotels, they do not have buses to transport the students. And some are even saying, oh, we don't want to pay for internships since we are training you. Without knowing that these stipends have a way of helping them access these opportunities. I think for now, it is the greatest challenge, I must confess. It is the greatest challenge. And if I were to add to this, I would say if you have happy lecturers, you would have happy lecture. When you have happy lecture, you would have happy students. Many a times the lecturers are not happy. And when the lecturers are not happy, due to the educational infrastructure now, when lecturers are not happy, they end up producing students that do not necessarily see the need to pursue a career in the industry. And this is a big one. So you're having lecturers say, oh, they have not paid my salary in XYZ. And the students are saying, oh, if I build a career in this part, is this not how my life will look like? You know, when you come into an environment, you try to look at people that have been working there 5-10 years so that you can see what possibility awaits you. So, and I think it's a challenge truly.
Right. You've spoken well. Let's now look at other African countries and some of the lessons that Nigeria can learn from them real quick. You see countries like Rwanda, Kenya, Morocco, South Africa, all making or have made significant investment in tourism. What are some of the lessons that Nigeria can learn from these countries? Okay, I mentioned branding earlier, and yes, we need to have like a national branding. As a nation, we need to be known for like a tagline, and so we are projecting too many messages, and it's not getting to the global audience, and we need to manage our perception very well. Perception is key. In Nigeria, we are very loud, sometimes unguided energy. So we need to sell our destination better, and I think private public partnership. So we need that very well, and we need that the curriculums as well. We need curriculum even down to secondary schools. We need curriculum that are rich and that can tell so much about our potential. Statistically, Nigerians don't even visit other states themselves. I mean, you have more persons that have visited many states in Nigeria than Nigerians themselves. So we need structures in place that can help people. The truth is that tourism is expensive, so structures in place that can, help people explore the nation and see the beauty that the nation has to offer. But branding, very important. We need to invest so much in branding. And when I'm talking about branding, I'm not talking about just attending the World Tourism Market and say, oh, Nigerian, we have attended the World Tourism Market. No, I'm talking, look at Rwanda, like the example I gave, visit Rwanda, trying to see how they can be part of global events. Cape Verde, they had a beautiful one at the ongoing World Cup, and it opened the nation up to visibility. These are things Nigeria should do. Even at this ongoing World Cup, I saw Saudi Aramco, trying to see, the advertisement, and I'm like, wow, like these are organizations that they are doing billions of dollars in profit, and yet they are still putting the energy when it comes to visibility. I think as a nation, we need to heavily invest. We need to just speak out destinations across regions. In South, maybe we are picking 2 year to project, and we have to project it very well. Marvelous. I see how passionate you are about this industry, but I just want you to just give me 3 interventions that you would say that the government must prioritize to unlock youth participation in tourism. Just 3 interventions, just 1, 2, 3.
Okay. The first to me is that they should invest strongly in the youth, and that is everything. That's what I'm living for at the moment. Yes, they should invest strongly in the youth. The youth are the future of today, not just tomorrow. And the second thing is, when it comes to appointment, the government should trust people that are experienced, people that have the exposure and the experience. Many a times, appointment, especially within the tourism infrastructure, is like a reward system, and they end up bringing those that have little or no knowledge. And people that we don't want people that want to learn on the job to be at the helm of affairs, and because it will take time, we do not have so much time to spare. And the third I would say is government should help in support. So when I talk about support, it's an holistic one. Support when it comes to the academic structure, support when it comes to the infrastructure itself, support when it comes to the branding I had mentioned, support when it comes to marketing. We have some private players doing events, several events ongoing, and you see these persons literally begging the government. I'm not talking about funding alone. I mean, trying to see how they can bring in government to achieve the vision of the event, which on the long run is the vision of the nation. And you see it being like a very hard chase. And I would say these are the three things for me. So I would say invest in the youth, the right placement and appointment, and support for the private players in the industry.
Three fantastic points. And for the young person watching this morning who wants to build a career in hospitality or tourism and doesn't know where to begin, what are some of the practical steps you would recommend? I mean, just give me 3 practical steps.
Practical step is that be very loud, be consistent. People will invest in track record than potential. People are most likely going to invest in you because of what they have seen you do, rather than what you are capable of doing. Sometimes you overestimate your potential. Start doing it. Just start. Start doing it. A moving man will meet his luck. So start doing it. Be loud. This is not the age you will say, oh, I'm not a social media type. No, that is irrelevant. You need to be a social media type, quote and unquote. Build real value online. Tell your story. Let people see what you are doing. Yes, let people see what you are doing. If you are not faithful in little, you will never have much. So let me conclude with that.
Thank you very much, Marvelous, for joining the show this morning. It was truly delightful speaking with you, and I hope you continue doing the great work you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It's so great to see your face once again. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Well, this has been Business Morning Live. Up next is Social Listening, where we check out some of the stories making the rounds on social media. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Moses.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news.
If it's sparking conversations, then we're bringing it to your seat. Welcome to the social listening segment here on Business Morning Live, where we bring you the stories, debate, and moments generating conversations across social media. I am Elizabeth Musa. My name doesn't change. Let's get into what's making waves online. For the first conversation today, operators of the Nigeria Police Force Intelligence Response Team have arrested Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi, the self-styled Director General of the controversial Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, PFIPC, in Osun State. Adeyemi, who had been the subject of an intensive manhunt by security agencies, was apprehended following intelligence-led operations weeks after investigations into allegations about the purported federal agency's activities. Now, according to the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Anete Nedu, the suspect was arrested without incident by a team of RLT operatives and has been moved into police custody for further interrogation. His arrest followed days of coordinated efforts by the security operatives who had earlier raided his family residence while tracking his whereabouts. Reports indicated that investigators questioned his family members during the research or the search for the suspect. Let's see some of the reactions on social media. There's a video trailing this conversation, but there are even more tweets and reactions on social media. We'll take a look at some of those tweets right about now. Hopefully we can get some of those tweets from social media. Clifford Opegbu says, he's not alone. A thorough investigation should be done. Because some Asura government officials are involved. A private investigation should be done, not EFCC or ICPC. Otherwise, so many things will be hidden and swept under the heavy Asura rock. Let's see if we have more reactions. Ato Asheku says, what's stopping the federal government from doing the same to Gbajamiala, relieving him of his duties for now, pending the outcome and time of the investigation? That's the question from Ato. Says this administration is always one-sided, selfish, with misplaced priorities and glaring hypocrisy. That's a comment from Ato Asheku. Do we have one more comment? Teddy Baba says, it's only in Nigeria that our laws protect the high and mighty but punish the other party. Why is the accused still in office without police interrogation? This to me looks like it's one-sided because he's not guilty until the court says so. This treatment should be meted out to Gbaja. Well, the Court of Social Justice, Collins says arresting him and leaving Gbajamiala out is not fair at all. Let's see how it goes. Hope they don't force him to retract the statement. Well, really, let's see how it goes. Now, in our next conversation today, the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State and the senator representing the Oyo South Senatorial District, Sharafaddin Abiodun Ali, has donated a brand new Toyota Camry to Mrs. Rachel Falake Alamu, the principal of the Community High School Esiele in Orire local government area in Oyo State. Now, the gesture comes days after Mrs. Alamu regained her freedom alongside pupils and fellow teachers who were abducted during the May attack on Community High School Esiele and Yawuta Baptist Nursery and Primary School. The lawmaker commended the principal for her composure and commitment to the welfare of the
Nigeria stands at a critical turning point. We move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed from stability to shared prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum.
Watching Business Morning Live right here on Business Day Television, and this is the social listening segment. Just before we went on the break, we were on the conversation of the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State and the senator representing the Oyo South Senatorial District, Sharafaddin Abiodun Ali, who has donated a brand new Toyota Camry to Mrs. Rachel Folake Alamu, the principal of the Community High School Ishele in Oriri local government area. Now, this gesture comes days after Mrs. Alamu regained her freedom alongside pupils and fellow teachers who were abducted during the May attack on Community High School Ishele and the Yawota Baptist Nursery and Primary School. The lawmaker commended the principal for her composure and commitment to the welfare of the abducted pupils despite the challenges they faced in captivity. He expressed hope that the donation would support her recovery and serve as encouragement as she resumes a normal life. We'll see some of the reactions on social media to this conversation, but I think firstly I'm going to start by saying congratulations, and we're just happy to see the pupils back home, happy to see Mrs. Alamu and the other teacher back home. Unfortunately, really still sad about the death, the killing of the other man. I don't remember his name. May his soul rest in peace to the ones who were killed in this entire abduction and kidnapping and all of that. But thankful that the students are back home. We hope that this doesn't happen again. Honestly, it looks like a far cry or something unachievable, but I really do hope that this doesn't happen again. But in the meantime, let's see some of the reactions to this car gift to Mrs. Alamu. Some of the reactions we have on Twitter, on Instagram, and across social media. But if our director could just put up these reactions. David the King writer says, "Wow, what a thoughtful gesture by Senator Sharafaddin Ali, replacing what Madam Alamu lost during that terrible 56-day ordeal shows real empathy. Wishing her strength as she returns to shaping young minds in Oyo State. I wish her well as well." Do we have more reactions to this story? Mitchell says, "Do you think this is really what she needs? Like this is the start. What are you going to give to the family that lost their breadwinner to this? Good question. How about those innocent children that were exposed to more emotional and physical torture? Good question. A car gift isn't relevant. The terrorists are watching." I'm just going to say that I hope that Senator Sharafaddin Ali, not putting pressure, because it's good of him to come out and maybe give this gift to Mrs. Alamu, but I do hope that they have some sort of succor, some sort of provision in place for the students who were in 56 days of emotional torture, because I don't think this is something that will ever be erased from their subconscious, their memories for a lifetime. So I do hope that they have some sort of, I would think that they should have some maybe an emotional group or something, some therapy. You know, they shouldn't just go back to school like it's normal. They need to provide for the parents as well, for the children, for the families of the teachers who were killed. Then there needs to be provision. But let's see some more reactions, the final reactions, and then we can move to our next story. Ayoko says, heartwarming gesture. Principal Rachel Folake Alamu showed incredible strength and dedication after surviving 56 days in captivity with her students and teachers. Her car being burned during the ordeal made this Toyota Camry gift from Senator Sharafuddin even more meaningful. Wishing her safe travels and continued impact in education. Well done, sir. I also say well done to Mr. Sharafuddin. Papa says, this isn't a good spectacle. The same script as of Chibok girls' abduction. A school principal receiving rewards where 3 teachers were killed in the same kidnap episode. All this allude to the allegation that the kidnap was staged for political gains. And look, I mean, at this point, conspiracy theories and all of that, everything are rising. I just wish Nigeria well, honestly. May all of us be safe. Our final conversation today says the leader of the United Kingdom of the Conservative Party, Kemi Badenoch, has said migrants who come to Britain on temporary work visas but fail to make a significant contribution to the country's economy should be required to return to their home countries instead of being allowed to remain permanently. Badenoch made the remarks while urging the Labour government not to abandon its earlier proposal to increase the qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years. She also pledged that the Conservative Party would support the government's original immigration proposal in Parliament if it is introduced without changes. Let's hear how people are reacting to this. You know what's interesting, right? Is the fact that Kemi Badenoch has a way of always being in the news, but we'll see how Nigerians are reacting to this one. Youth in Process, wow, what a name, says it's a shame that Nigeria's failure has forced many of its citizens to leave home, only for some to be used to promote narratives that further undermine the country they left behind. For a country like the United Kingdom, given its colonial history, that irony should not be lost on Nigerians. Youth in Process, that's a good comment. We have one more comment from Timony. Timony says, Kemi Badenoch's job is to put Britain's interests first, not immigrant. If she believes a 10-year rule better serves Britain, that's exactly the position you'd expect a British political leader to take. Nigeria's leaders should do the same for Nigerians. Well put. Do we have more reactions to this conversation on social media? I think there's one from Omar's Corner. It says it's easy to call people temporary workers when you forget they are human beings who keep the UK running during shortages. If Britain needs their labor but wants to deny them stability after years of contribution, then be honest from day one. Don't recruit people with a pathway and rewrite the deal later. Honestly, this also boils down to integrity, right? Before you sit back and say, oh, there's this law or the other, or this new introduction, this new policy, whatnot. Be sure about it if you want to move on with it, or if it's not something you want to continue. But there's one more comment from Oluwole Fadokun. It says, this is the typical attitude of an average Nigerian. See the daughter of a migrant trying to make life difficult for others who want to migrate like her. And that brings us to the famous saying that we say in Nigeria, the famous phrase of I better pass my neighbor. You often see an average Nigerian who thinks, oh, I'm doing well off than the other person. They don't want the other person to, rise to the occasion. They don't want the other person to also get such opportunities, because they always like to have this feeling of, oh, I'm better than you. I do think, though, just not being, emotional about the conversation or just being just from a policy standpoint. I do think that if they do sit down to say, oh, we come up with this policy, think it through, think about every side to it, you know, the different sides of the coin, top side, bottom side. Just review the entire thing before arriving at something. It's not a good look. I mean, it doesn't rub off well to start something and, you know, take 10 steps backward again and then change the entire thing. It's just it doesn't move us anywhere, right? Yeah, that's why I'm going to leave it today on social listening segment. Thank you so much for joining the Business Morning Live today. It's been such a conversation, you know, from the newspaper review in the morning, from the business news. We also spoke about artificial intelligence. We also spoke about some of the things to look out for, you know, when renting. And of course, the business of tourism and hospitality in Nigeria, talking about mentorship and some of the opportunities for young people, and then social listening. It's been such a packed show, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Until tomorrow, my name is Elizabeth Musa. Stay safe.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by BusinessDay Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
Welcome to Reflections Nigeria. This is where we discuss current issues in our country and then seriously analyze and break them down to your understanding. And today we'll be looking at two key issues that have happened just in the last few days in our country. Number one is the fact that last Friday we woke up to the good news of the rescue or release of the adopted teachers and students in the Orire, your state, after almost 2 months in the bush with their adopters. And we thank God, I mean, the teachers are back, the students are back, and so Nigerians are generally happy. But beyond the rescue and the release of the student and of course the teachers, something happened, and I think we should look at that. The governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has called on the United Nations and other international agencies to probe into the circumstances surrounding the adoption and, of course, the release of the teachers and the pupils that were adopted on the 15th of May. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. What does Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, know that we do not know? And of course, the other thing we are also going to discuss is the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has retained his Vice President Shetima as his running mate for the 2027 election. Of course, again, Muslim ticket. We saw this in 2023, and there was a lot of criticism against that. And then people were actually believing and thinking that in 2027, the president might be going for a Christian this time around, given the fact that 2023, there was a lot of criticism. But of course, the president has said to you and I that he's a stubborn politician. So this time around, he has stubbornly decided to stick to his VP, Shetima, in 2027. The two issues we're going to be looking at, and then we'll look at what the implication of Mr. President retaining Shetima again, running with a Muslim ticket ahead of the 2027 election. And I have with me in the studio, as usual, two gentlemen, and together we'll be discussing this issue. I have the Sunday editor of BusinessDay newspaper, Mr. Zeb Agoma, of course, the assistant editor, also here at BusinessDay, Mr. Chuka Roko. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting us.
And I think without wasting much of our time, I think we should straight away go into our discussion. I think we should start with Seyi Makinde, who believes that there should be some form of independent investigation into what happened in Oyo State, where the teachers, the students were adopted. Of course, in the course of that adoption, two teachers have been killed, and but thank God, the teachers and the students are back now. But the governor of Oyo State is calling for an independent investigation. But for him, it's not this independent investigation that actually go beyond Nigeria. Mr. Zeb, is there anything that you think the governor of Oyo State know that we Nigerians don't know that is making him to, make this call?
Thank you so much, and for inviting me. First of all, we must have to congratulate the government and the security agencies for the return of the pupils and their teachers after 56 days in captivity. What we are seeing now is the level of politics and how that politicking is really wreaking serious havoc in our body politic as a people. Don't forget that immediately after that incident, when that incident happened, there was politics around it. The ruling APC, the Oyo State chapter of the APC released a statement accusing the sitting governor of lackadaisical attitude and blaming him for not doing anything and saying, look at how you are here and people were abducted. As if that was the only place that thing had happened. And in fact, if you saw the preponderance of responses that people were feeding back to the APC and said, this thing has been happening all over the place. Nobody has accused the state government of perpetrating such a thing. But why is it that Makinde's case is different?
Different.
You are now blaming a sitting governor for the adoption of the pupils in his state. Yeah. So it was just a sheer or bad politicking. And the governor on his own also addressed a statewide gave a broadcast and said that actually that he knew that it was masterminded by the APC, because as soon as he made public his presidential intent that this thing happened. So actually, Makinde had not stepped back from that allegation that these things were masterminded by political opponents. He believed that despite the fact that these people have returned, there must be something behind the abduction that need to be known by everybody. And by the way, since these pupils and their teachers returned at the weekend, a lot of things have been happening. People have been saying all manner of things on social media. And people have even written, not even on the pages of newspapers, alleging that some of the comments and some of the things that are emanating from the government do not add up. For instance, if you see how the children were dressed, if you saw pupils, children as tender as maybe 5-year-old children and all that, just you could see that they will be traumatized. But the people we saw they look happy, and some of the 2-3 of the girls were wearing sparkling white hijab. People say, where did they bring the hijab? People that were released from this. So a lot of things did not add up, and that's why the governor may be doubting that there were some hanky-panky deals that were trying to fight his presidential ambition. So I think that was what set off the...
Okay. Before we... Chuka, before I come to you, let me listen to Governor Makinde, his broadcast where he was actually, calling on the international agencies, including the United Nations, to actually probe into this. Can we have that video?
The circumstances surrounding this incident are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the Executive Governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanisms, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the primary responsibility for national security rests with the federal government and the security agencies under its command. The Nigerian people, therefore, deserve a full and transparent account of what happened, who was responsible, whether there were institutional failures, negligence, or collusion at any level, and what measures must now be taken to ensure that no community is ever subjected to such an ordeal again. This is not about politics. It is about justice for the victims, reassurance for our people, and restoring public confidence that every Nigerian child can go to school without fear.
Thank you for that video. Chuka, that's the video. And what I found interesting in what Makinde said is that he said, this is not about politics. And so he's also saying that he's not saying this to undermine the role that the military institution and the Israel government has played in the rescuing of these children. But If you look at the statement that was issued by the presidential spokesperson, Ononuga, is actually rebuking Makinde, and then, saying that Makinde is playing politics. So I would like to ask you, Chuka, do you see any merit in the statement that the presidential spokesperson released condemning Makinde, calling for a probe, independent probe into the circumstances that led to the adoption of these children and, of course, their release on the Friday?
Sure, thank you very much for your question. But, all of us are in Nigeria, and we know that what we don't politicize in Nigeria is just the food we eat. Apart from the food we eat, even when government want to provide water that we drink, there must be an element of politics in it. And then every other aspect of our lives, our existence as a people, there must be politics in everything. And what's actually escalated this one is the fact that Oyo State government is PDP.
Yes.
Then the federal government is APC. So that mutual suspicion, that's acrimony, not just that acrimony is deep. And if you watch what happened when the initial time this incident happened, the children were abducted. It was as if it didn't matter to anybody.
Yes.
The state government was just saying, "Oh, it's a federal government thing." The same Makinde said at one of his when addressing the people that, "Oh, true, he accepted that he's the chief security officer of the state, but he doesn't have power to say, police, go and do this."
Exactly.
He didn't have power to say, military, go and do what I want you to do. So what Makinde is just saying is trying to amplify the political aspect of it, even though he goes the other way to say it is not politics. He has just succeeded in amplifying the politics inside the lives of innocent Nigerians. Because if it were in a place where people take life serious, that children, because people say students, and that gives a wrong impression of what really happened. What people have seen here are nursery pupils, primary school pupils, not students.
They are not students.
Students are people from the age of 10 and above. But look at the kind of characters that are in somewhere, even if they are in country hotels.
Yes.
But they are away from the comfort of their homes. Many of them, if you look at them, you find that they come from poor homes. But that place will be a lot better for them than wherever it must have kept them.
In the forest.
In the forest,
yes,
for the sake of politics.
Yes.
So the emphasis should not be on who is winning and who is losing, but on the impact it had, the psychological impact
in their lives,
in the lives of these children and then their parents. All of us sitting here are fathers. And if you come home, you're expecting your daughter or your son to come back from school, you don't see the person, and then all of a sudden news goes out that, oh, he's among the people who were kidnapped. You cannot eat. You can't sleep. So that happened a lot of parents the parents of these pupils. And then somebody's father somebody's brother, somebody's uncle was killed in the course of this. And people are just talking about probe and no probe. I don't think we have not heard anybody say, oh, we're going to think of how to compensate the families of those who lost their lives in the case of because of this. You know why we cannot say this is true and this is wrong is that we have seen several cases of this in the north. And why that of the north wasn't as didn't have this kind of the way this have escalated is because it had always been the same government, the same government, and the APC government would not like to present the federal government that is a failure, as a failure. Or are they not doing their work. Then you look at the children, the way they look, the way they appeared, even on the day they were released. Many of them had their hair plaited. I don't know whether I saw that. Their hair is plaited. If a child's hair is plaited for 56 days, you see, you'll be looking haggard. I know that. You know how children handle their hair. Because every week, when we had our children as small, it's every week that a mother will take them the salon for platinum of their hair. But this one alone looked so fresh. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that Makinde is also trying to shift attention from himself. Because all of them are in the market for sale. Whether you're talking about Makinde or talking about the president, they're all in the market.
Okay.
And if they are, because they are all in the market, everyone want to say, oh, look at me, I'm innocent. Don't still vote for me, even though, because Nigerians were really pissed off.
Yeah.
Makinde, as governor of the state, whether he's the chief security officer or not, hold this as a duty to the parents of these children pupils to jettison even his presidential ambition and make sure that these people are released. If he had all the powers or if he had all the compassion as he's trying to present it.
But does that warrant him jettisoning his
what I'm trying to say is that while these children were those early days, that was the heat of primaries. He faced that primary election, all of them. And
don't forget that there was a timetable. Yes. And they were even the APC also went ahead with its own. So it's not one day. Not one day. Yes.
But let me come back to you. You know, truly speaking, I have seen so many people. I mean, if you go online, you see what they comment. If you look what people have done, a lot of people have condemned Seyi Makinde for politicizing this, as it were. You know, again, but people have also argued that in 2014, when the Chibok girls' adoption happened in Borno State, right, and that the current president was opposition, and that was national leader of the APC at the time. The current vice president was of Borno State, and there was some kind of allegation that there was some level of negligence. But again, what I'm going to say is that we saw how the APC, as an opposition party then, you know, escalated this to the international level. They said that even the stage on that time, and his wife got so much involved in it. What Makinde is doing? Is it different from what the APC as an opposition, party did at that time?
You know, there is nothing that is happening now. Never happened
before.
When the APC was in the opposition, there was nothing they didn't do
or condemn.
They didn't condemn. At that time, some of them were even thinking the way that Makinde is thinking now, that it must have been an RNG thing.
Kind of.
That they planned and stole away these children and kept them somewhere. In fact, I had an interview with a highly placed member of that party at that time, who asked me, Zebul, we have a situation where you have about 300 grown-up girls. At least 150 of them will be seeing their menses. Where are they keeping the sanitation to take care of it? That is not possible. So they were saying that it was the Jonathan government that arranged for the kidnap of these children until things began to happen. Apparently, that may be the way the Oyo State governor is also thinking, that some things may have happened. What gave vent to this thing is because of the kind of politics we are playing in Nigeria. It's not a very good way of going. It's not a way of doing politics of bitterness, politics of anger, politics. So if anything happens to a state, it should be also the concern of the federal government, because it affects the federal government also.
Whether the government of that state
so we are not seeing ourselves as one. The level of hate we have injected into the polity is so massive and it's affecting a lot of things. And that's why when this thing happened, Makinde laughed it off. Didn't believe that it could ever happen, or that it was real. That it was real. And that not believing that it was real was what made him not to take it seriously at that time. He was just being
politics.
Yes, he was going about his politics. And the same thing, the federal government did not put a finger on it at the right time. When this thing happened, the president was busy doing other things. The party was busy doing their primaries. Everybody forgot these people in the bush. At the point where the feeling got home was when this teacher was beheaded and the picture, the video was shown. It was at that point everybody came to say, oh, this thing was really serious. So if, for instance, this thing was pursued when it happened, these people could have been rescued or released earlier than now. But don't forget also that the word release and rescue is also a political consideration, and nobody knows whether it was. Some people are saying they were released, they were rescued. So you know they are not the same. If they were released, it means that something must have changed hands. If they were rescued, they must have shown all the bloods. What people are saying is that the military have been claiming that there were some people that were killed in the course of this fire. Yes, and there were also some people who were arrested. So the onus is on the military to now show all these people you captured, so that Nigerians will not be doubting you. If you have people that were captured, parade them and say, these are the people. So why shielding them?
And perhaps let journalists engage them.
Engage them and say, who and who? Are you really? In the course of interviewing them, they will also even disclose other people, even in the community, who aided them.
Yes. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. But whatever the case is, we are happy that the pupils, the teachers are back. And for those, Mr. Michael, who was beheaded, and that there was another teacher was killed, and of course the principal, Mrs. Rachel Alama. I mean, that was the name, right? Alamu. So we are happy. Nigerians are happy that these children are back and the teachers are back, and that whether they were rescued or whether they were released, our joy is that they are with us, have been reunited with their families. And so we want to thank those who are involved in whatever, whether it was rescue or whatever, we'll be happy that. But just before we leave this, there's something that I thought about it. I felt, look, we can also take a look at this. Look, if you look at, for instance, the principal of that school, the woman who has been speaking on behalf of this, and Mrs. Rachel Alano, if you listen to his interview, what they went through, and then she said that she lives in Alimo, and then she had to be driving to that place, every day to a very long distance. And we were asking her, look, will you be going back to? She said, well, I have done 28 years, so I have like 4 years left. But if I'm sufficiently healed, and then I will probably go back. But then probably. Maybe not that same school, because she said she spent a lot of money. So you can see the level of sacrifice that teachers, people like this, just to make sure that we give our children the right kind. But these people they hardly recognize people like this. In Nigeria, what would they? I think that people like this are the kind of people who should also be given some level of, even if it means national honor. But we use this national honor all of the time on politicians and politicians. But there are so I think that the federal government should also consider people like this for national honor. And I think it would be nice to, as a way of saying, look, you've done well. I think we should recognize you. I mean, even like I said, national honor, and not just share this national honor to this TV politics.
Yeah, what is also not good or not right at the moment is that, the the release or the rescue of these pupils now has also given some politicians the leverage to brag. Because I saw some of them, even those representing the area, they are now bragging of the role they played in rescuing these people. So these things are neither here and there. If you play the role, these children shouldn't have been in the bush for 56
And then
years.
also takes us back to the Safe School Initiative.
Safe School
that was initiated by Jonathan. Because a lot of schools are still left unguarded, you know. The fences, there are no fences to, you know.
Nobody's even talking about how to leverage what can happen in Oyo.
To really
advance
the cause of
insecurity. Because if we had this kind of military or security people having this kind of intelligence or
they combine
everything they combine in what will make this happen. Government should consolidate on it and ensure that even there are some other schools where there are pupils or some areas where some people are still in captivity.
No, in fact, in the about the same, let's say that about 70 something are still in the
So they let them leverage this, whatever power they use to make this happen. To
also rescue others who are still in the bush.
So that even the bandits and the kidnappers themselves will know that, oh, it's no longer business as usual. We have to the others strategize or lay down their arms. Because
while we also crying over those who have been abducted, we're also crying over people who have been slaughtered needlessly. The same weekend when these people were released was the same weekend that 20-something people were killed in Plateau. About 10 were killed in Borno State, Benue. So these things should not be happening in Nigeria
at all.
It's because government people, all these things we do as a journalist, reporting this and reporting that, because I follow what you people do in a Sunday publication. Some of these things are not new to your publication.
Every Sunday you see massive reportage of some of these things.
This last edition actually feasted on this. What to be done, what is being done, what's been done, and then what needs to be done further. But
all right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Just before we conclude, we're going to short break now, but we'll come back to quickly look at the president is going to fly the Muslim ticket in 2027, despite the criticism against that in 2023. Like I said during my introductory remark that the president has described himself as a stubborn politician. So he's stubbornly sticking to his Muslim ticket again in 2027. So we're going to short break now. When we come back, we'll just take a look at that and then conclude. Nigeria. In the last couple of we've been discussing the adoption and of course the rescue of the pupils and the teachers in Oyo State, and of course the Governor Seyi Makinde's call for some international agency and the United Nations in particular to get involved in probing the circumstances surrounding that adoption and the rescue of these children. Thank you for watching. But gentlemen, before we go, let's look at Mr. President again, as picked his vice president, Vice President Shettima, to be his running mate in the 2027 election that is coming. Some people have criticized this. Some people have said, look, you are not being sensitive. You are not, taking into consideration the fact that we are a multi-religious, country. And of course, so some people feel offended by the fact that, look, you ran with a Muslim, you are a Muslim, you ran with a Muslim in 2023. This time around, especially the insecurity, you recall that even the United States
Yes.
When they, raised the issue around, Christian genocide in Nigeria, they also said, oh, this was fueled by the fact that there is a Muslim ticket in Nigeria. The president is a Muslim, the vice president is a Muslim. But again, the president is going that same route this time around. Chuka, what do you have to say?
Joshua, thank you so much. You see, each time I think about this Muslim tickets, and the president insisting on having his vice, in spite of all the outcry and the outrage in their first tenure, I see arrogance. I see disdain for the people. Then I see a conquered people. The president is exhibiting high-level pride and arrogance that there's nothing this people can do. And then, when you talk to me, I don't look at you and look at me, sneering at you, say, what can you do? Who are you? That is, for me, the attitude of the government or the president to the rest of Nigerians. Then the docility of the people themselves. Nobody is ready to even talk. People don't even talk it loud because it might be, oh, Joshua was the person who said it. Zebulon also said it. So that fear, that sense of apprehension that if I say it, if I do something about it, then I know that in this country as it is today, nobody is ready to talk or do anything because we might say, oh, this man, what is his name? He says it's Agomo. Oh, that's an Igbo man. You will say his name is Chuka. Oh, it's another Igbo man. And these are the people who are masterminding this, what is happening now. Then you will be kind of marked out for whatever they want to do. So going for Muslim means there's nothing Nigerians can do. And the president had just said it openly, and said it stubbornly too, that he is a stubborn politician. These are some of the things that somebody will tell you, even when he was running for the first time, he told you that, oh, he doesn't believe in democracy because power is not served like a carte. We'll just grab it and run with it. So we have seen, and the fact that Nigerians have also decided to resign to fate. Let us just hope, allow this man to run his term and leave. Then another person will come, the same hope continues. I remember when Mr. Obasanjo came back, after came back to become the president of Nigeria. Journalists asked him, what are you still going back to the government house to? He said that, what did you forget there that you want to go and take back? He said he's not going back to take back anything, but you want to rescue Nigeria from executive arrogance, from a legislative rascality. That is exactly what we are seeing how many years after.
The same thing.
The same problem. That executive arrogance, legislative rascality. But this one is not even about rascality. It's about
rubber stamping.
It's a legislature that cannot decide. Sometimes you don't even know what's happening within the same legislature. That's why a fake agency was able to get budgetary allocation. There are some members of the legislature don't even know about the allocation. So it goes beyond rascality this time. And what we are seeing is that if you take, and maybe somebody also want to pacify a certain section of the country that if I don't go this way, perhaps it will affect my fortunes and the
all right, thank you, Chuga. Zeb, does it really matter? I mean, some people have argued whether he's a Muslim that the president is going to run with in 2027 or a Christian that he wants to run with, that what matters really is
see as they go into the election. So they must have looked at a lot of possibilities and a lot of the pros and the cons and felt that sticking to that ticket may be the best bet for them. But generally, it is a negative thing for the president to have stuck on that because we remember what happened in 2022 when he declared to the point that the thing had nearly even destroyed the Christendom. The Christendom were saying no. Some people were buying into it, and at that time we had fake bishops that were dressed in cassock to attend the event for adoption of the president, and he said,
where they are now.
So bishops are still one day now you will still see them come again and wear the cassock to go and approve side for the president. So it is a destabilizing factor in the polity. It divides the Christians among themselves. Some of those who projected the president at that time are manning Jewish offices today. So people are leveraging on the support that when other people were kicking you over the Muslim, we were the people who said it doesn't matter. So I think the president didn't know what else to do at this time than to say, let's continue with this.
So especially given that this has given him a win.
It has given
2023.
Yes. So. But what the president wanted to.
But even if it was, it's
that they were in government. Forgetting that even some people were not comfortable with the fact that he was even a pastor. I was behaving as if he didn't even know much about the Bible. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that I don't think Muslim or Muslim Christian will make any difference, because Nigeria governance doesn't mean much to us here, whether it is the same religion or the same tribe. So
all right. Thank you, gentlemen. Just a second, if you can do this. If we flip this, is it possible for
the North,
a Christian ticket in Nigeria?
It's not possible. The North will fight with the blood of in their bed.
So I don't even need to.
So don't even imagine that. So it's just the nature of Christians, that, like what he has said, that no expectation from people in government. That we have seen the world. There's nothing that we are as bad as what we have seen. So there is no expectation. But you can't try this in this country. Say Christian. You can't even imagine it.
All right. That he is able to provide governance that touches the people positively. I mean, rather than looking at religion. So, I mean, does it really matter if Tinubu has decided to run with Tinubu has decided to run with Shetima, another Muslim ticket? Does it matter, really?
Yeah. The problem that Tinubu has is because the last 3+ years have not really impacted positively on Nigerians. Many people will say that they have not felt the positive impact of the administration, of the governance. So if Tinubu had really impacted Nigerians in the way they had expected after experiencing the dangerous years of Buhari, and now he came and turned around everything, people can now say, yes, we are experiencing good governance. Nobody will be talking about Muslim tickets. But what has happened is that people can be said to be worse off today than they were in 2023 when the government came on board. But I can see a Tinubu that is, I think, is in between the devil and the deep blue sea here. Dropping his vice may not be easy for him. Give it or leave it. Take it or leave it. The vice president has been a very loyal person to the president, and they have been working very cordially. So it will be very difficult for anybody to say, drop Shetima and pick another person. Don't forget that there were other people who were expecting that the president would go for them on the account of this, at least to break this Muslim ticket. People like Dogara,
the former speaker,
was eagerly expecting that at least the president may come
his way
to pick him. So it was very difficult. And now the vice president has also made some input, made some inroads into his own part of the country, the Northeast and the general North. In the 3 years he had been there, at least he had been able to stabilize the plate for APC. So that changing that may also be a very, very dangerous thing for APC.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. I think it's been almost 40 minutes of very insightful discussion, touching on those two topics that we brought to the table this afternoon. So thank you, viewers, for staying tuned. We do not take your time for granted at all. We really appreciate that the fact that you watch, and please, we want to urge you to, as we view that, you just go to the comment section and make your comments about some of the issues that we have discussed. I mean, let's hear from you too. I mean, what are your opinions? What are your views about the issues that we have discussed? We would love to hear from you through your comment on the Business Day television. Thank you so very much. My name is Joshua Bassi. This is where we draw the curtain for today. Thank you once more.